Mecha battle starting from Gundam. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1418, Puppet Master, Cruz's Care. In the capital of the Zanskar Empire, no one expected that Cruz would come here in person. This was completely unnecessary. After all, Yang Hui had made up his mind to destroy the Zanskar Empire, so there was absolutely no chance of being spared. But he still came because there was someone he needed to meet in person. "Sir Cruz, are you here to kill me?" "Of course not, Ms. Maria. I just want to confirm something and hope to reach an agreement with you." In the palace of the Zanskar Empire, Cruz sat elegantly opposite Maria Armonia, as relaxed as a tea party with old friends. Of course, if you ignore the soldiers who fell to the ground or the guards who were reluctant but had no choice. That's really an honor. "So what do you want to confirm, Puppet Master?" Maria Armonia was not nervous at all, nor was she overly alert, because it was completely unnecessary and meaningless. As a core figure of the new federal army, she naturally heard of Cruz's existence, and knew that people who feared him gave him the title of Puppet Master. Maria Armonia used to think that Cruz's methods were beyond ordinary people and that he could use conspiracy and trickery to manipulate people as puppets. But after this meeting, Maria Armonia realized that her understanding was wrong. The man in front of her, a man with a deep and cold aura. He can really turn people into puppets. Maria Armonia saw with her own eyes that Cruz came to her bedroom from the gate of the palace without any obstacles. No one could stop him. No, it should be that no one could stop him. Cruz's fingers kept moving, and the invisible and intangible silk threads fell on everyone, and then they could no longer control their bodies. Just like the soldiers who were still standing guard around him, they were controlled by Cruz and could only be his puppets. "Well, it has been confirmed, Ms. Maria, you are really a powerful NT," Cruz said, touching his chin. The purpose of his trip was certainly not to confirm whether Maria Armonia was an NT. It was just his curiosity. After all, he was very curious about what an NT who could influence or even change other people's ideas with his own will was like. "So, Mr. Cruz, what is your purpose?" Maria Armonia asked. "That's unfortunate, Ms. Maria. I have a deal here. I wonder if you are interested." Cruz put down the teacup in his hand, crossed his legs elegantly, and put his hands on his knees. What deal?" "If you surrender on behalf of the Zanskar Empire, we will let you go. How about that?" Cruz said. "That's impossible." Maria Armonia answered Cruz decisively. At the beginning, she was dissatisfied with the rule of the corrupt Federation, and in order to realize her beliefs and ideals, she resolutely led the Zanskar Empire to independence and declared war on the Federation. Even if the Federation is no longer a corrupt quagmire, she will not give up her goals and wishes, that world where everyone can live in peace under the shining light of maternal glory. "Really? So, can I understand that for Ms. Maria, your citizens are not as important as your personal ideas?" Cruz smiled gloomily. My people will definitely support me." Maria Armonia bit her lip and answered with difficulty, "I will also protect my people." "You can't do whatever you want." "Really?" Cruz sneered, making Maria Armonia shudder. She turned her head to look out the window at the prosperous city outside the window. "Then I am looking forward to seeing whether they will still die for your ideals when the federal artillery fire falls on this city." "You can't do this. You are killing people." Maria Armonia finally panicked, stood up and scolded loudly. "Let me correct you, Ms. Maria. We are only eliminating the rebels." Cruz raised a finger and said to Maria Armonia, "The federal army will fight to the death to protect the people of the Federation, but the Zanskar Empire does not belong to the Federation. It is the enemy of the Federation. There is no need to show mercy to the enemy. They are just innocent people." "But didn't you just say that, Ms. Maria? They will always support you." Cruz continued with a sneer, "As long as they still support you, whether the Federation defeats the Zanskar Empire or not, they will continue to oppose the Federation. They will die sooner or later, so it is better to be free earlier. You are putting it in a twisted way. I will never allow. So you should agree to my deal, Ms. Maria." Cruz interrupted Maria Armonia and said, "In fact, you have no way to stop us from doing anything. Your fleet is vulnerable to the current federal army. Your military force cannot stop us. So, if you want to save your people from being massacred, The only option is surrender. Our fleet has broken your blockade and occupied the moon. As long as, in just a few minutes, you should be able to receive the battle report. Your fleet has been completely annihilated. The smile on Cruz's face did not change. He was always paying attention to the latest intelligence. Before meeting Maria Armonia, he received a battle report. Von Braun and Granada had been liberated, and the two fleets of the Zanskar Empire were completely annihilated. How could it be? You are lying to me. I don't think there is any value in lying to you. I have always been thinking about you, Ms. Maria. You. Okay, Ms. Maria, the pleasant afternoon tea time is over. Cruz took out his pad to read the latest news, looked at the time again, and nodded. I have other things to deal with. You don't need to give me an immediate answer to my deal. You still have time to consider, about 30 minutes. Now, I have to go and clean up the real termites lurking in this country. What do you want to do? Maria Armonia asked in panic. She thought Cruz was going to massacre her people. Nothing, just deal with that old man with Alzheimer's disease. Prime Minister Kakashi. No. You can't. Oh? What a surprise. Cruz looked at Maria Armonia in pretended surprise. Your mental waves are so powerful, but you can't see into other people's hearts. What? Mean? It's that old man. You care about him so much? He and you have never been in the same camp. Impossible. Don't try to deceive me, Kakashi. He wants to destroy all human beings on Earth and then become the king. You are lying to me. What benefit can I get from doing this? Cruz shrugged and asked Maria Armonia helplessly. I have already controlled him and can get rid of him at any time, so there is no point in alienating you. Okay, Ms. Maria, you still have 28 minutes, so I'll take my leave first. Cruz. Laulu Cruz. Don't go. Come back. Seeing that Cruz was about to leave, Maria Armonia immediately wanted to stand up and keep him. However, the moment she wanted to get up, she found that her body did not obey her at all, and she could only sit in the chair and could not move. Chapter 1419, Poison Gas Bomb. Have you cleaned up everything? After arriving at Von Kakashi's mansion, Cruz looked at the only body in the room and asked his subordinate standing beside him. Everything has been cleaned up, Master Cruz. The subordinate bowed his head respectfully and answered. Pa. Kreutzer had a blank expression on his face. He didn't even look at his subordinate. He slapped him with his backhand. I don't remember when I gave an order to let him off so easily. I know my crime. After being slapped, the subordinate didn't dare to complain. He didn't care about his red and swollen face. He just lowered his head and closed his eyes and continued to report. Your request has been completed. Von Kakashi has revealed all the evidence of his crimes, whether it is video or handwritten letters. Veda has also been connected to all channels of Zanskar. As long as you give an order, these crimes will be made public, as well as his personal confession record. Pa, didn't you understand what I said? Kreutzer's expression did not change, but his tone became a little colder. What I said is, it's so easy for him. I know my mistake. This subordinate was also an old man around Kreutzer, but it took him 2 chances to understand. Kreutzer did not blame him for his incompetence, but blamed him for killing Von Kakashi so easily. What a pity. In Kreutzer's eyes, Von Kakashi was just a more advanced toy. Why was it advanced? Because Cruz was very interested in how he could hide his true thoughts from the high-level NT. Maria Armonia had confirmed that it was indeed a very high-level NT. In the field of mental waves, the Promise Corps was far ahead of this world. The conclusion was that no matter what type of mental wave user, ordinary people who reached the level of Maria Armonia would never be able to hide their true thoughts unless they used the mental wave shielding device developed by the Promise Corps. Cruz had confirmed that Von Kakashi was just an ordinary person and did not have such high technological power, so, how did he hide it from Maria Armonia? This was very interesting. However, Tisk. So Cruz was very dissatisfied that such an interesting toy was killed so easily. You know what to do. Yes, Lord Cruz. The subordinates did not object to Cruz's final judgment and accepted the punishment happily. Lord Cruz, the first target has been controlled. Do you want to see it? The subordinate asked. Bring it here. I've given Ms. Maria 30 minutes. Don't break your promise. After the death of Von Kakashi, Cruz had no toys to play with, and nothing else to do. Instead of being idle, He might as well meet his main target in the Zanskar Empire. A few minutes later, a girl in a plain dress came to Dreki Cruz. Facing this terrifying big shot, the girl was unexpectedly calm. "Nice to meet you, Shakti Karan." After leaving the moon, Dreki Cruz headed straight for the mainland of the Zanskar Empire. According to the latest intelligence received, a combat meeting was held in the conference room. Currently, Cheyenne and Victor's fleets have found the trace of the Angel Ring, but the Zanskar Empire has concentrated all its remaining troops to guard the vicinity of the Angel Ring. At the same time, the Prime Minister of the Zanskar Empire, Franz Kokerchi, has mobilized 3 agricultural colony satellites and 3 residential colony satellites to act as natural barriers. How could this happen? Damn Zanskar. Damn Kokerchi. This bastard actually used civilians as shields. Absolutely unforgivable. Silence. Although they understand the excitement of the crowd, this is a meeting and everyone is a soldier. They cannot act on impulse and must abide by the rules. Seeing that everyone had quieted down, Yang Hui continued to tell the latest intelligence. Not only that, this operation was led by Chief of Intelligence Cruz himself, who sneaked into the interior of the Zanskar Empire. The investigation found that not only these 6 colony satellites, but all the colony satellites of the Zanskar Empire were equipped with a large number of poison gas bombs. Once triggered, no one in the colony satellites of the Zanskar Empire will survive. Hearing this, everyone's expressions became even uglier. Although the Zanskar Empire was their enemy, they would never massacre innocent civilians. Even if the army of the Zanskar Empire was destroyed, the civilians of the Zanskar Empire were still the people of the Federation and were the objects they had to protect. But they hadn't taken them back yet, and these innocent people had already been held high by their leaders at this time, and the butcher knife could fall at any time. This inhumane behavior was not an exaggeration to call it a beast. Because of this, Cheyenne and Victor cannot launch a decisive offensive immediately and are confronting the garrison of the Ring of Angels, and we also have to change our action plan. Yang Hui's gaze swept over everyone and finally stopped on Sanai Grewale. "Captain Sanai, you will tell everyone about the new battle plan." "Yes, Colonel Yang Hui." Sanai Grewale stood up, walked to the center of the rostrum, called out the latest battle plan and projected it on the big screen. According to the information collected by the Intelligence Department, there are 2 keys to activate these poison gas bombs. One is in the hands of Prime Minister von Kokerchi, and the other is in the hands of Tassilo Vago, Commander-in-Chief of the Angel Ring Garrison. Activating either key will directly activate the poison gas bombs in all colonial satellites. Currently, Chief of Intelligence Cruz has controlled von Kokerchi, and the key in Tassilo Vago's hands is difficult to seize. Therefore, our unit, as an independent elite force, will be divided into multiple routes to carry out support operations and assist the intelligence personnel and Marines who have infiltrated various colonial satellites to dismantle all poison gas bombs. While explaining, Mitsui Greywall kept drawing curves on the big screen, and names were distinguished one after another. The Zanskar Empire has 32 colony satellites in total. Excluding the 6 in the Angel Ring area, there are still 26. So our team will be divided into 26 teams to carry out their respective tasks. First, the first team, Colonel Yang Hui, is responsible for colony satellite number 1, Mr. Graham is responsible for colony satellite number 2. SRX team, Major Iram, is responsible for colony satellite number 25. Although this arrangement was made by Mitsuha Greywall, Yang Hui reminded and suggested that the configuration of each team was reasonable and the best allocation plan for the current combat power. Everyone had no objections, but instead rubbed their hands and couldn't wait to get started. Finally, Captain Brad, after the Londo Bale team attacks, please ask the White Fortress to go to coordinate S41 and destroy the designated coordinates. It is allowed to use reaction bombs to directly destroy them. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1420 Infiltration Operation. The Zanskar Empire's #1 colony satellite, because Angel Ring mobilized almost all of its troops to form a garrison. The entire colony satellite did not even have a single mobile suit, let alone a warship. There were only a few observation posts arranged on the periphery. In the silent universe, An invisible figure secretly crossed the cordon and approached the abandoned port of the colony satellite. As the light distorted, Dawnbreaker Erstrelin, creation, revealed its appearance. Sparse and weak golden particles condensed in its palm, turning into a dozen small unmanned detection robots and throwing them into the abandoned port. The brain remained connected to them and took in the situation of the port. The path is safe, go. Then, right next to Dawnbreaker Erstrelin, creation, 4 small transport boats also removed their camouflage and entered the abandoned port one by one. The hatches were opened, and a large number of fully armed soldiers set up cordons. Dawnbreaker Erstrelin, creation, stayed at the exit of the port and was alert to the surroundings. Alpha Squad, Beta Squad, Theta Squad, enter from channels A, B, and C respectively. There are people from the intelligence department to meet you at the door. Gamma Squad will stay at the landing point and set up positions. Understood. And after receiving the order, the Marines took action one after another. The captains of the 3 squads led their members to follow the small drones into the 3 channels and quickly disappeared from sight. The remaining Gamma Squad moved a large amount of munitions and equipment out of the transport boat, and sent several people to carry boxes and walk into each channel. The people who stayed behind set up defensive firepower around the transport boat, including heavy machine guns, rockets, bunkers, GN force field generators, everything, both offensive and defensive. Major, the position is set up, please give instructions. In less than 15 minutes, the defensive position of the abandoned port was set up, and even all the channels connecting here were set up with traps and detection methods. As long as they wanted, anything alive or not alive could not pass through. Stay where you are and wait for news from the Alpha, Beta, and Theta squads. Understood. But Major, isn't this a bit of a waste? After the captain of the Gamma Squad conveyed the order to the team members, he finally asked a question in his mind. They were all carefully selected Marines, including members of the Londo Bell team and elite soldiers recruited to Drestliga by various units. At first, they thought it didn't matter, or even unlucky, because the battlefield was now dominated by Mizzen battleships, and the city was mostly peaceful. No enemy could break through the direction of the Promise Corps, so the role of this group of Marines had reached a point where it could be ignored. However, in Dreki Cruise, their training never stopped, and it was even more difficult and strict, and then, they found the meaning of their existence. So far, Dreki Cruise has carried out more than one city rescue and suppression operation. Mizzen battleships are the decisive weapons, but they also play an important role. The training that Yang Hui helped them pick up again also played a crucial role. Every time they rescued hostages safely, they did not cause too much damage to the city. Every time was a perfect victory, but it also brought pride and arrogance. After you go back, go to chart to receive the punishment. Yang Hui did not answer Captain Gamma's question. There was an unquestionable coldness in his calm tone. Colonel? Did you get carried away? I'm sorry, Colonel, I was wrong. You should be glad that you can still say this, instead of going to hell and telling your comrades. Yes, Colonel, I know I was wrong. Ding ding ding. I'm Yang Hui, tell me. After receiving the encrypted communication from the inside of the colony satellite, Yang Hui immediately answered it. This is the Alpha team. We have found all the gas bombs in the mission area and are dismantling them. It is expected to take 15 minutes. This is the Beta team. We have also found all the gas bombs. It is expected to take 13 minutes. This is the Gamma team. We have found all the gas bombs. It is expected to take 9 minutes. Are you sure it is all the gas bombs? Yang Hui asked. Yes, Colonel Yang Hui. The one who answered Yang Hui was the intelligence officer of Colony Number 1. After several investigations, it can be confirmed that all the gas bombs have been found. There are no omissions. Okay, dismantle them immediately. Understood. In addition to Colony Number 1 where Yang Hui is located, the bomb dismantling operations of other colonies are also proceeding smoothly. This is also due to the fact that the Zanskar Empire has transferred all its troops to the Angel's Gate. Otherwise, it would be difficult to sneak in and complete the bomb dismantling operation quietly. In this way, all colonies are safe. After receiving the report from the Marines, Aggie St. Claus showed a relaxed smile on his face. It was hard for him to imagine what kind of disaster these gas bombs would bring after being activated. No, that's not all. Husuo, who is in the same team, said to Aggie St. Claus. Aggie St. Claus's mind, which had just relaxed, was once again raised. Husuo was right. There were still 6 colony satellites in the territory of the Zanskar Empire with poison gas bombs that had not been dismantled, and it was difficult to dismantle them. Because these 6 colony satellites were guarded by the army, they had no chance to sneak in quietly. Moreover, these 6 colony satellites were surrounded by the army. If they were discovered, the army of the Zanskar Empire might be desperate and directly attack these 6 colony satellites. Not only could they not save these 6 colony satellites, but the infiltrators would also be in danger. Don't worry, Aggie, Colonel Yang Hui will have a way. Husuo comforted Aggie St. Claus. Maybe he was also comforting himself. I hope so. Aggie St. Claus was not sure whether Yang Hui had a way, or whether Yang Hui's rescue plan included those 6 colony satellites. Ding ding ding. This is Edge, come in. All the poison gas bombs have been successfully dismantled, prepare to return. Understood, we're ready to evacuate. Angel Ring, in order to avoid the detection of the Earth Federation Army, was deliberately built in the reef space area far away from the Imperial capital. However, no matter how hidden it was, the huge army could not be completely hidden, and naturally it was discovered. The garrison commander Tassilo Vego has been very nervous, especially after learning that the 2 super fleets blocking the country's borders were lingering nearby. What's wrong with those 2 fleets? There's nothing abnormal. They have been wandering around the reef area. Sir? Do you think they didn't find us here and are just looking for the Angel Ring? Stupid. They are just looking for it and patrolling back and forth on the edge of the reef area. Yes, I know I'm wrong. Humph, the other party should be waiting for reinforcements, but that's perfect. What we need is time. Thinking that the Angel Ring has been built and will be able to play a role soon, Tassilo Vego's face showed confidence of winning. How long will it take to complete the preparations for the Angel Ring? 2 more days. 2 days, let them speed up. And tell Kakashi that the woman should set off. Understood. Chapter 1421 Hell is ashamed of itself. You're finally here. Well, the obstacles in Zanskar have been cleared, and we can launch a general attack on Angel Ring. Outside the reef space where Angel Ring is located, Dredge crews met with Cheyenne and Victor's fleet and prepared to launch a general attack on Angel Ring to completely eliminate the threat of the Zanskar Empire. The battle plan has been sent to you. Launch the attack in 1 hour. Understood. X2. Even the 2 veterans who have experienced hundreds of battles are eager to start the battle immediately. They are innocent, but they are also responsible for their dereliction of duty. This has also added an indelible mark of humiliation to their military history. Even in the early days of the 1-year war, there was no such shame. At that time, they could still say that Zeon used new technology and combat methods to catch them off guard. Now, when the military equipment, technology level, and intelligence network are all superior to the other side, they are still exploited by the other side. This is an indelible shame. If it can't be erased, then vent your anger. Who is the target? Whoever caused it is the one. Therefore, even the mild-mannered General Victor wanted to kill all the Zanskar guys in the Reef universe at this moment. After sending the battle plan, Yang Hui summoned representatives from various departments of Dredge crews and all his troops to the conference room for a meeting to make battle deployments. This operation will be divided into 2 parts. The Cheyenne fleet and the Victor fleet will launch attacks from the directions of A41 and K45 respectively. After the operation begins, I, Graham, Yolan, Char, and Lala will follow the White Fortress to enter the battlefield from the direction of S64 and directly attack the Angel Ring. Brad, except for the Dimension Devourer, all weapons will be lifted and the Angel Ring will be completely destroyed without leaving any room. Understood. The others will follow, Drestliga, to sneak under the cover of the 3-way attack, sneak into the 3 colonial satellites of Dredge 3, Blair 4, and Aogang 6, cover the landing of the Marines, and eliminate all surrounding enemy forces. Understood. And after the Marines land, a part of them will be sent to occupy the control room of the colonial satellite and drive the colonial satellite away from the reef space. Understood. And the specific situation of the detachment will be announced by Captain Mitsuha. That's all I have to say. Any questions? Yes. As soon as the voice fell, Aggie St. Claus raised his hand immediately. Excuse me, Colonel Yang Hui, why are there only 3 colony satellites? What should we do with the other 3 colony satellites? Include them in the attack range and destroy them together. What? XN. Not only Aggie St. Claus who asked a question, but everyone else stood up in shock and looked at Yang Hui in disbelief. But Yang Hui's expression did not change at all, and his emotions did not fluctuate. He just explained to them calmly, according to the investigation, the people in these 3 colony satellites are all fanatical followers of the Maria Doctrine and are not worth rescuing. This. Colonel Yang Hui, are you kidding? This is a combat meeting. This sentence was Yang Hui's answer. On weekdays, Yang Hui likes to be treacherous, but when it comes to serious matters, he never jokes. Those people are living people. Colonel Yang Hui, if you do this, those people can't be saved. I think you all know what fanatics are. But you don't need to carry out this mission. Cheyenne Victor will be in charge. You just need to carry out your mission. But any other questions? Yang Hui interrupted the questions and skipped the topic. Mr. Yang Hui, I have another question. Suo, who was sitting in the front row, raised his hand. According to the intelligence, there are 20,000 people living in the Angel Ring. Those people. Gulu was the president of the 3 colonized satellites. Everyone guessed the fate of these 20,000 people. According to the information provided by the intelligence personnel, these 20,000 people have either been completely brainwashed or have become living dead, serving as biological components of the Angel Ring. XN. Any more questions? I have another question, Mr. Yang Hui. Nanbu Xiangji, who was leaning against the wall at the back, asked, can you tell us what mission the White Fortress went on before the reunion? Upon hearing this, everyone focused their attention on Yang Hui again. They knew how terrible a weapon the reaction bomb was. What kind of target would need to be destroyed by the reaction bomb? Coupled with Yang Hui's attitude towards the 3 colony satellites and the 20,000 people on the Angel Ring, everyone had a bad premonition in their hearts. There are 4 colony satellites. Yang Hui said without hesitation, 2 scientific research colony satellites and 2 residential colony satellites. Mr. Yang Hui, can we know the specific information? Nanbu Xiangji continued to ask. He used to be the kind of person who would dig into these things, but he had experienced too many betrayals by his superiors, and coupled with the influence of the people of the Dressage, he had more independent thinking and a rebellious attitude. Yang Hui did not answer immediately. He looked around at everyone and received everyone's expectant gazes. He took out his pad and tapped the screen a few times, then turned and walked out of the conference room. Graham, Yolan, Char, Lala, let's go to the White Fortress. The people who were named stood up and followed Yang Hui out of the conference room. Amuro, Kami, Ryu Kanosaki, and Rita Bernal also left with him. They were all members of the Promise Corps. It was not until the door of the conference room was closed that several documents were projected onto the large screen in the conference room. This. How could it be? It's just a beast. I still failed your kindness. Are you heartbroken? Graham walked beside Yang Hui and teased. Of course not. Yang Hui grinned without any loss. The ugliness of the world is that there is nothing impossible, only the unexpected. They should learn this, but it's just a little early. I really appreciate their attitude of daring to doubt. This is a companion, not a machine that only obeys orders. The file transmitted by Yang Hui was the information of 4 colony satellites. 2 scientific colony satellites were secret experimental bases for the Zanskar military, or Fonskokrachi, to conduct human experiments, biological and chemical weapons, and NT research. 1 residential colony satellite was a warehouse for storing experimental materials. The last one was better. It was a luxurious colony satellite where the military and political leaders of the Zanskar Empire lived. It could also be called a degenerate version. This colony satellite was a paradise of desire for the military and political leaders and their families, and for those who satisfied their desires. Hell would be ashamed. Well, I hope it won't affect the next battle. I don't want to be an Annie. Graham shrugged. And everyone laughed softly. Did they know Graham yet? He likes to charge forward in every battle and always needs others to clean up his mess. Even if there is a babysitter, it is not his turn to do it. Chapter 1422. The battle begins. A large area was cleared in the center of the reef space domain, but this area was once again filled up, not with countless transports, nor with dense space junk, but with a huge ring-shaped device, and fleets and mists that could not be seen by the naked eye. Angel Ring, the ultimate weapon of the Zanskar Empire, is also the final killer move for a comeback. Even if they don't care about their homeland at all, they must protect Angel Ring. However, the news of Angel Ring was leaked, and the two fleets of the Promise Corps have been hovering around them. Unable to determine whether they have really discovered Angel Ring, and fearing the military power of the Promise Corps, they are always in a panic. And now, the situation they are worried about has finally happened. The Cheyenne fleet and the Victor fleet launched attacks from two directions respectively. Damn it! Do these federal troops really not care about the residents of the colony satellite? Tassilo Vigo, who received the frontline battle report, punched the armrest of the chair and cursed. According to the intelligence provided by many parties, Tassilo Vigo learned that the current federal army is not the corrupt federal army of the past. Not only is the military force unprecedentedly strong, but it is also upright and prosperous. The corrupt federal army has changed its past norms and has taken protecting the people as its own responsibility and resolutely implemented it. Many intelligence reports have shown that the federal army has kept foreign enemies outside the city, and has not allowed any enemy to break through the defense line and enter the city at the cost of more sacrifices. In the city recapture and suppression operations, it has completely changed its previous recklessness or implicated innocent people, and has used special operations to the extreme. A large number of occupied territories of the Zanskar Empire were lost without knowing what happened. It is precisely because of this that the damage to the city has been reduced to the extreme, and the people have been protected from being affected. Therefore, Tassilo Vigo and Vons Kakachi decided to use 6 colony satellites full of residents as shields for the Angel Ring. Even if the Angel Ring is really discovered by the federal army, they will be afraid to attack easily. Not only that, all the colonies of the Zanskar Empire have been equipped with poison gas bombs as a means to deal with the Federation army. But now, the two fleets that frightened them completely ignored his warnings and launched an attack directly, which was completely inconsistent with the intelligence. Sir, the colonies blocking the two fleets. Without the adjutant trembling to say the answer, Tassilo Vigo also knew that because of the fear of insufficient troops, if there was a shortage of troops, in order to be able to recruit more troops as quickly as possible, 3 of the colonies were all selected fanatics. They loyally and fanatically followed the Maria Doctrine. Anyone who told them that doing so would benefit the Maria Doctrine would do anything, even if it meant dying. Are all the spare machines ready? Tassilo Vigo asked the adjutant. Everything is ready. They are all the eliminated Zorord, Zoro, Zorokai and Tomliot, and there are also many aerial eagles. What about that? They are all loaded, and the startup program is in our hands. Good. Let the group of fanatics join the battle immediately, and use them. Ding 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 ding. Report. A large amount of high-energy reaction is coming from the direction of the enemy fleet. This is the enemy ship's main gun. What? The words were stuck in his throat and he couldn't say them. Dozens of spiral purple-red energy torrents had already cut through the universe, cutting the dense military formation into countless pieces. All the friendly forces that were swallowed up, whether they were warships or mechas, turned into dust in an instant. The flames of the explosion connected the sky and finally landed on the 2 colony satellites. The colony satellite finally blocked the energy torrent, preventing it from moving forward, but, at the contact point, the space was distorted, and the colony satellite was twisted into knot bit by bit, falling apart, and the broken fragments were crushed into ashes the moment they separated from the main body, and even dust could not be found. The fate of the colony satellite was, of course, to completely disintegrate under the scouring and distortion of the energy torrent, and turn into countless pieces of space junk in the dazzling flames. Damn it! Let the fanatics of the last colony satellite attack. The order has been conveyed. 65% of the attacks have been dispatched. Ding ding ding. A large number of objects are detected approaching at high speed. This energy level is a nuclear bomb. Disperse. As soon as the words came out, Tassilo Vigo was blinded by the strong light of the explosion. Even with his eyes closed, he could feel the stinging. It was not until the stinging began to weaken that he dared to try to open his eyes slightly and slowly adapt to the weakening strong light. Tassilo Vigo saw everything in front of him clearly, and because of this, he was stunned and trembling all over. The dense array in front of him, the solid defense line that was said to be absolutely invincible, was like being roughly wiped by an eraser. The originally dense friendly forces and solid defense line were bitten into dozens of clean gaps by the unknown abyss, and the debris was still floating on the edge. Damn Federation. They actually broke the taboo and used nuclear weapons. Have the fanatic Suicide Corps attacked. Tassilo Vega roared with bloodshot eyes. The attacks have all been completed. Send them all out. Activate the self-destruct system immediately once contact is made with the enemy. Use this time to reorganize the defenses. Understood. Commander. A new enemy ship has appeared in the direction of S-64. Something is rapidly breaking through the direction of our army. Call up the optical image. Yes. This is. We're moving. To the Angel Ring. Huh? A suicide unit. Cheyenne, sitting firmly on the bridge of the flagship, looked at the radar detection system and saw a large number of enemy planes that had no formation, no rules, and no discipline, and were coming at him like mad dogs. He immediately determined the nature of the enemy force. Have all the MIS units completed the attack? The attack has been completed. Cheyenne's adjutant reported to Cheyenne. The MIS troops leave the front of the fleet. The escort fleet advances on both wings. The Suzaku class retreats. The Zuanwu class and Beihu class execute the A03 formation, advance steadily, and shoot down all those mosquitoes that play with self-destruction. Don't miss a single one. Understood. Haha, what era is it now? Still playing this kind of self-destruction tactic? It's really boring. Cheyenne looked through the viewing glass of the bridge, watching his fleet changing formations in an orderly manner, and the escorting MIS troops were on full alert. The corners of his mouth could not help but curl up coldly. Commander, A03 is completed. The Zuanwu class deploys the GN protective force field at 40% power, and the Beihu class is divided into 3 units, with a time interval of 3 minutes, and fires in turn in the gaps between the protective force fields. Understood. XN. Chapter 1423. Sorry, this road is blocked. The battle has begun. The Angel Ring is divided into 3 battle zones, namely the attack directions of the Cheyenne Fleet, the Victor Fleet and the White Fortress. After the Cheyenne Fleet and the Victor Fleet destroyed the 3 colonies without hesitation, Tassilo Vega removed half of the defense line in the rear to revitalize the front line and resist the attack of the 2 fleets. When the promise appeared, Tassilo Vega saw several MIS that frightened him easily tear the front line to pieces and rushed straight towards the Angel Ring. He immediately transferred all the remaining troops in the rear to the vicinity of the Angel Ring, and he took his men to hide in the Angel Ring, trying to grab the last straw. However, the 3 colonies that served as barriers did not move, and there was not much defense left. After all, the Cheyenne Fleet and the Victor Fleet destroyed the 3 colonies without hesitation, which meant that the other party had made up their minds to destroy them and the Angel Ring at all costs. In this case, the 3 ordinary colony satellites used as a means of containment have lost their greatest value. It is not so easy to move the colony satellites, so they are simply abandoned without caring about what will happen to the 3 colony satellites. Therefore, the part of the garrison that was originally prepared to be abandoned is left behind, and the defense force is equivalent to nothing. But because of this, it also gave Drestliga an opportunity. Damn it. Has Tassilo completely given up on these 3 colonial satellites? Kissel, what should we do now? The 3 colonial satellites that remained, or the abandoned troop, is Maria Armonia's Guard Division. Unlike ambitious people with impure motives like Von Skakach and Tassilo Vega, they are all loyal warriors of Maria Armonia, following and believing in Maria's teachings, but not as blindly obedient and crazy as fanatics. Their duty is to protect Maria Armonia. However, under the superb acting skills of Von Skakach, Maria Armonia was persuaded to send her guard division to guard the Ring of Angels, and at the same time, the Queen has strictly ordered us to protect the civilians of these 3 colonial satellites. We cannot leave. Kissel Bovid, the commander of the guard division and one of Maria Armonia's most capable assistants, said with a firm look. But we are too few in number. Once we encounter the fleet of the Federation Army, we. The one who asked Kizerboa was his subordinate and lover, Karigvog. The Queen's order must be completed. And, we must protect the civilians of the colony satellites. Kizerboa said sternly. I understand. Knowing the determination of her boss and boyfriend, Karigvog did not persuade him anymore. They were all loyal to the Queen, believed in the Queen's ideas, and looked forward to the beautiful future that the Queen had described to them. In order to complete it and protect it, they would not hesitate even if they sacrificed their lives. Beep, beep. At this time, The radar detection system responded, and a large number of red enemy marks were attacking them. Kizerboet immediately gave an order, all teams disperse, and we must protect these 3 colonies. Understood. XN. Tisk, have we been discovered? Isagi Shunichi, who served as the vanguard, complained. He had thought that he could complete the mission by quietly approaching like the previous infiltration operation. Isn't this expected from the beginning? Get ready. Said Agi St. Claus. Wait a minute, that emblem is the Queen's Guard division of Zanskar. Although the database does not have all the information about Zanskar's new machine, the specific unified emblem on the opponent has revealed clues and can find a matching object. Hey? So you mean a tough guy? That's interesting. Ando Masaki smiled expectantly. He has always been a supporting role and has never been the protagonist of the battle. Now he can finally meet an opponent with some strength, and he is still looking forward to it. No, the situation is a bit strange. Kyujimiyake analyzed a battlefield situation and always felt that something was wrong, so he immediately contacted Sanai Grewale. This is Zier, Captain Sanai, I have something to report. This is Drestriga, I'm Sanai, go ahead. The enemy's troop distribution is very unreasonable. There's only the Guards division around the 3 colonial satellites, and no other enemies have been found. I suspect. Rabbit Team, SRX Team, Fiercebird 30, V2, go and entangle the Guards division and capture as many prisoners as possible. The others escort the landing craft to continue moving forward. After Kyujimiyake's reminder, Sanai Grewale also discovered the clues. Under Yang Hui's training, she already has a good strategic vision. Because they were attacked from 3 sides, it was reasonable for Tassilovago to withdraw the troops from the side that did not encounter the enemy to support the other 3 directions, but it was too unreasonable to leave only so few troops to protect the 3 colonial satellites. Either continue to hold the colonies and their inhabitants hostage, leaving a large army to guard against possible enemy attacks from the rear, or completely abandon the 3 colonies without leaving any troops. Leaving only 1 Guards division, it is impossible to protect the 3 colonies, but it is left symbolically. Combined with Tassilovago's personal intelligence, he is an ambitious man who is in the same group as von Skokrachi, but not completely in the same group, and is not the same kind of person as Maria Ammonia. Therefore, Mitsuha Grewal guessed that this Guards division was excluded or even abandoned. In this case, there is a chance to fight for it. The other party is likely to be kept in the dark. The current highest priority goal is to enter the 3 colonies, dismantle the poison gas bombs, and rescue the residents. If this goal is achieved, it may be possible to avoid a life and death battle and reach a temporary cooperation with the Guards division. Understood. XN. After the Marines land, a small team will be sent to occupy the central control room of the colony satellite, start the propulsion program of the colony satellite, and stay away from the reef space. The MIS troops will be responsible for escorting the colony satellite. Understood. XN. The Rabbit Team, SRX Team, Ravenbird 30 and V2 Gundam, which were responsible for entanglement with the Guards division, immediately accelerated after receiving the order, broke away from the protection team of the transport boat, and came into contact with the Guards division in front of the main force. The 2 sides shot back and forth, and the battle was fierce for a while. It's a tough opponent, that is. During the fight with the Ravenbird 30, Kizerboet discovered the transport boats under the protection of the MIS, and was horrified. He immediately wanted to get rid of the Ravenbird 30 and destroy those transport boats. However, as soon as he turned around, the huge shield was hit hard and retreated in the opposite direction. Sorry, this road is blocked. Chapter 1424 Guards Division. After being kicked hard on the heavy shield, although the body of the machine did not suffer any damage, the impact still made Kizerboet very uncomfortable. Moreover, his purpose was seen through, and it would be very difficult for him to get rid of the enemy's entanglement. Sorry, this road is blocked. The voice of Agi St. Claus was transmitted to Kizerboet's ears through the public frequency, making Sakir-Boisert's face look very ugly. Simple fighting and testing can determine that the opponent's machine performance is better than his own, and the driving skills are also better than his. He is a very difficult opponent. His chance of winning is very low, so the 3rd team, the 4th team, the 5th team and the 6th team, do your best to entangle the enemy aircraft. Kurig, you lead the 1st team and the 2nd team to destroy the enemy's landing craft. Understood. XN. Kizerboesert can become Maria Ammonia's right-hand man, relying not only on loyalty, but also on outstanding ability. He sensed the enemy's purpose and judged from the strength of both sides that they would hardly have a chance of winning, so he shifted his goal from destroying the enemy to stopping the enemy. As long as those transport boats are destroyed, the opponent will not be able to occupy the 3 colonial satellites in a short time, let alone cause harm to the residents in the colonial satellites. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The Guards Division lived up to its reputation as an elite. After receiving the order, it immediately changed its tactics. Each team performed its duties and responded quickly, trying to hold back the opponents that should be held back and looking for targets that should be destroyed. However, their opponents were no pushovers. Dozens of GN Super Dragoons blocked the way forward for Karagvog and the first and second teams, blocking their way. At the same time, the R3 fired at full power, building a wall of firepower in front of them. Don't even think about getting through. Damn it. The first team, follow me to open the way, and the second team will break through. It. Clang, lang, lang. A cold light flashed, and several Ikshak of the Guards Division had their heavy shields broken, their limbs and heads cut off, leaving only their bodies floating in the universe. Asshole. Karagvog's eyes turned red, and he pulled out the electric whip and whipped the heavy R2, while the beam rifle opened fire to interfere with the R3. Facing the dangerous electric whip, Lattice F Pursuta was not panicked and dodged with a tiny movement. At the same time, the beam rifle in R3's hand fired, and the pink beam accurately hit the electric whip and broke it. Because of covering R2, R3 was locked by Krajvogel's Likshak. His bent fingers were about to pull the trigger, but the next second. T-Link. Flying kick. R1 fell from the sky, and his right leg wrapped in telekinesis fell like a sword. It did not touch Likshak at all, but just passed by it, but the strong wind brought by the flying kick crushed Likshak's left arm. Lai, are you okay? Ida Longsheng asked proudly. Longsheng, well done. Lattice F Pursuta and Gulan K gave sincere praise. Ida Longsheng came at the right time, and the control of the flying kick just now was very accurate. Ida Longsheng was a little excited. After all, it was the first time he received praise from his companions, especially Lattice F Pursuta, who had been picking on him since he joined the army, and had never praised him positively. But in contrast, Karagvogel's mood was not so good. The body lost an arm, and the important weapon, the electric whip, was also gone. Moreover, she would not forget that the third team was responsible for entanglement with R1. Now it came over, which meant, hey, surrender, you have no chance of winning. Ida Longsheng opened the public channel to persuade the other party to surrender. Although he did not think so much, in his eyes, the other party had no chance of winning, and there was no need to die. Surrender? I can still fight. Without the left hand and the electric whip, her body still had the right hand and the second beam rifle, the beam sword, the triple beam ray on the head, the 2 beam fans, and teammates. She can still continue to fight. However, just as her body took out the second beam rifle from the heavy shield on her left arm, R3's sniper arrived, accurately hitting the beam rifle and right hand. At the same time, the head that began to shine was hit by R2's artillery fire and shattered. Even so, I still have. Karagvogel didn't want to be captured, so he planned to activate the self-destruction program, at least to take away 3 powerful enemies in front of him. However, her dancing hands froze on the keyboard. The self-destruction program had not been set up yet, and the cockpit was completely dark. No matter what she did, she couldn't start the shutdown system again. Oh, that's a close call. At this time, outside the cockpit, R1 had come to Likshak's side and attached a small device to Likshak's back. This was a small capture device, that is, Veda's small terminal. After attaching it to the captured target, Prue could easily hack the opponent's body, force shutdown, remote control, etc. Longshen, go support to SUO, Lai, let's stop the team that wants to break out. Understood. The battle of the X3SRX team has achieved a staged victory, and the battle between Aggie St. Claus and Kizerboad is also about to be decided. Damn it. Kizerboad is in a very bad state at this moment. His heavy shield and right arm are gone. He has lost all his long-range weapons. He only has a beam sword in his hand to resist the impeller flying knives surrounding him. He also has to resist the shooting of the Fierce Bird 30. It can be said that he has reached the end of his rope. I say, why don't you surrender? It's also very tiring to surrender. Aggie St. Claus persuaded again. Although he didn't have a strategic vision, he reacted quickly, and he cooperated well with Sanigrewale. He understood her meaning almost as soon as Sanigrewale gave the order. These people should not be killed as much as possible, but captured alive. So Aggie St. Claus had been letting him go from the beginning. Yang Hui had taught him a lot about how to control the impeller knife. With a heavy particle rifle in his hand, if he hadn't wanted to capture Kizerbovid, he would have killed him long ago. But Aggie St. Claus's ability was limited. He wasn't strong enough to easily make the other party lose his combat capability. Don't waste your words. I will never surrender. If you want to hurt the residents of the colony, then step over my body. What a trouble. We are obviously saving people. What did you say? Kizerbovid froze for a moment after hearing this. Good opportunity. Swish. Chapter 1425 The Hard to Accept Truth. Damn it. You despicable man. Move. Move quickly. At this moment, Kizerbovid, like his lover, was trying hard to restart his body. Although his body had been cut into a stick by the impeller flying knife of Fearspurt 30 in the moment of days just now, he still had one last trick, that was self-destruction, dragging Fearspurt 30 to death together, and then. Isn't it said that there are two different people sleeping in the same bed? The idea is exactly the same, the execution is exactly the same, and the experience is exactly the same. Fearspurt 30 is now next to Kizerbovid's Lickshack. A small device was attached to the body, causing the body to be forced to shut down before the self-destruct program could be started. Fortunately it worked. Aggie St. Claus was relieved when he saw that Lickshack was completely motionless. It was the first time for him and Ida Takamori to use this capture device. Although everyone's body was equipped with several such capture devices a long time ago, they had never encountered a time when they needed to use it. With Yang Hui and others around, even if they wanted to capture, they didn't need to use this device. Before the other party had any idea, the body would completely lose the ability to move. In their eyes, the assimilation ability was really a very unreasonable ability. Ag, is it over? At this time, Husuo drove the V2 Gundam to the side of the Fearspurt 30. Well, I'm done here. Aggie St. Claus's mission was only Kizerbovid. As soon as he fought, he judged that the other party was the commander of this guards division, so he was responsible for a single target, and the other enemy planes were handed over to his companions. We are all done too. The guards division of Zansker was completely wiped out, except for 4 people who were all captured. Husuo said. What about the landing troops? Have they entered the colony satellite? Aggie St. Claus asked. This is the most important task, otherwise everything they did would be useless. All have landed and are looking for poison gas bombs and the suppression control room. Husuo replied. That's good, where are we going? Captain Mitsuha asked me to go to Target 2 with you, and the SRX team will go to Target 3. Okay, we'll set off immediately. By the way, take these prisoners with you. Understood. You despicable villain. The broken bodies were taken to the interior of the colony satellite. These bodies were definitely not needed, so the cockpit was pried open and the people were taken out for special custody. However, Kizerbovid had just left the cockpit when he saw Aggie St. Claus walking out of the cockpit to hand over to the members of the Marine Corps, and his mind was immediately filled with anger. Aggie St. Claus scratched his hair awkwardly. Although he didn't do it on purpose, he did not do it very well, but this is a battle, a war, not a duel. How can it be despicable? Well, Aggie St. Claus brought out the words that Yang Hui had taught him to convince himself, and the effect was outstanding. I didn't lie. We are saving people. Aggie St. Claus spread his hands and said to Kizerbovid, hoping to reduce his anger and reduce the workload of his fellow Marines. I will never believe you. You bunch of butchers. It seems you don't know yet. Aggie St. Claus shook his head and said to Kizerbovid, not only these 3 colonies, but all the colonies in Zansker are equipped with poison gas bombs. If they are in the hands of Vons Kakachi and Tassilovago, they will be used to hinder us. What did you say? Kizerbovid was stunned for a moment. You should know why these 3 colonies are here. Kizerbovid gritted his teeth. Of course he knew. Anyone with a little bit of brains knew why there were 6 colonies around the Angel Ring. He also knew who were on the 3 colonies and what Tassilovago used them for. That's why Maria Armonia gave the guards division the order to protect the 3 colonies before they left, And it was also one of the important reasons why they didn't retreat. Why should I believe you? Kaiser Boiswood didn't believe what Aggie St. Claus said, but he also planted the seeds of doubt in his heart, and even sprouted and grew rapidly. As one of Maria Armonia's attendants, he had long seen that the Franz Kakashi faction was not of the same mind as the Queen, and had reminded Maria Armonia to be careful, but Maria Armonia trusted Franz Kakashi very much, and reminders and warnings were useless, so he secretly used his own manpower and connections to do some investigations and found a lot of dangerous evidence. That is, after that, Kaiser Boiswood had been on guard against a Franz Kakashi faction to attack Maria Armonia, and secretly fought against them. It was hard for him to accept what Aggie St. Claus had just said. After all, Franz Kakashi was also the Chancellor of the Zansker Empire, so he wouldn't be so crazy. But it was not impossible. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. Aggie St. Claus had never thought that Kaiser Boet would believe him just because of his few words. Anyway, you are a prisoner now. Please reduce the workload of others. Don't think about escaping. When the Marines complete their mission, they will control these 3 colonies and leave the combat area, so just don't make trouble. Aggie St. Claus saw that Kaiser Boet no longer struggled violently, nodded to his Marine companions, and returned to his own body. After handing over the prisoners, he still had to participate in the defense of the colonies. Aggie, Huso, don't you rest for a while. Tian Heihu and Ji Daoji, who were also in this colony, asked when the Ravenberg 30 and V2 Gundam entered the deployment position. After all, there was no enemy attack yet, and they had just participated in the battle, so they could take this opportunity to rest. No, there is no consumption anyway. The battle with the Guards Division did not consume much energy for Aggie St. Claus and Huso, and there is no enemy attack now, right? Just take a rest in the cockpit. The enemy should have noticed us, get ready. Jian Tai also said to everyone. Although the battle just now did not make much noise, it would definitely expose their whereabouts. Understand, huh? That is. For a moment, everyone's eyes were cast on the Angel Ring, attracted by the scene in front of them. On the left and right sides of the Angel Ring, there were 2 energy giant swords tens of kilometers long, like swords that could break the sky, majestic and powerful. Chapter 1426 The Long-Lost Trio. After entering the battlefield, the White Fortress directly transformed and entered the Macros attack form. Countless missile launch bays all over its body roared, and missiles fell into the enemy aircraft group in front of it like a rainstorm. Fireworks bloomed, gorgeous and brilliant, but it was also a deadly scythe of death, ruthlessly and efficiently reaping countless lives. Reload the missile launchers. Number 1 to 10 fire reaction bombs, covering areas A01 to J93. Understood. Charge status of the Super Heavy Quantum Reaction Cannon. 98%, 99%, fully charged. The Super Heavy Quantum Reaction Cannon locks onto the front and fires. After 1 minute, the secondary guns will fire in stages, with an interval of 2 minutes. Understood. Captain. Enemy planes are approaching. Database comparison. Kanshio, Shatton, Degora, Brucken, there are a lot of them. Activate the Porcupine Formation, Air Defense Matrix. Missile launchers number 11 to 70 are loaded with anti-aircraft shrapnel. After number 71, continue to load Giant Bear warheads. Keep the barrage moving at a medium speed. Amuro and Camius protect the left and right wings of the battleship. Following Brad's orders one after another, the White Fortress transformed into the most terrifying war machine. It raised the heavy and majestic Super Heavy Quantum Reaction Cannon in its right hand and mounted it on the huge shield in its left hand. The brilliant purple-black spiral light roared, and the torrent of destruction flowed through. Warships, fighters, all obstacles were swallowed up, and not even dust was left. Even if it was lucky enough to escape and survive, the secondary guns arrived one after another at this moment and disappeared in the dazzling light. Sir, the road is cleared. The Super Heavy Quantum Reaction Cannon and the secondary guns cleared the road in front, and Brad immediately reported to Yang Hui. Understood, Char, Lala, keep the road open, Graham, Yolan, we're on. Understood. X5 led by Don Ersterlin, Creation, 5 meteors dragged long trails into the wide road cleared by the White Fortress. Amuro and Camus drove their own machines to protect the White Fortress on the left and right. Halfway through the 5 meteors, 2 stopped. Amy induction, open her arms behind, Nightingale transfer. The emerald gems on her chest and shoulders shone. Her limbs and eyes burst into emerald light. Larasen's mental waves spread out in ripples, and everything within a 10-kilometer range was in Larasen's sight. At the same time, the same picture was transmitted to Char through Siegfried network. As his eyes swept back and forth on the picture, one enemy plane after another was clearly separated and connected into a large net by dense lines. The GN Super Dragoon broke away from Nightingale transfer and activated all its weapons. As Char pulled the trigger, all weapons mysteriously disappeared at the moment of firing, and reappeared, right in front of the enemy plane, 0 distance. At this moment, Ersterlin, Creation, Luna Division, Split, and Abskneden, Cut, are still moving forward at a very high speed. It's been a long time since the three of us have acted together. Graham, who was at the forefront, said with a smile. Ha ha ha, you're right. I miss it. Yang Hui and Yulin smiled knowingly when they heard this. This reminded them of the time when they were still in the Gundam Age world. There was no Promise Core, no such powerful weapons and equipment, no so many powerful companions, and only the three of them, carrying out various dangerous missions together. This is a rare opportunity, so I won't be polite. Yang Hui, Yalin, I'm counting on you. Graham laughed wildly, and without waiting for Yang Hui and Yalin to answer, he pushed the joystick to the bottom. Flames burst out behind, Flag Abskneden, cut off, and it accelerated again. There was just a flash of something in the sight, and Flag Abskneden, cut off, had already rushed into the group of enemy planes blocking the front. The long meteor trail outlined a complex picture with the various sharp angle maneuvers of Flag Abskneden, cut off. Alice, why do you still like to take the initiative so much? Yang Hui sighed in disappointment, but he did not slow down. His wings spread out, and rich golden particles sprayed, soon covering the entire area. As Dawnbreaker Ersterlin, Creation, held his hands, 2 multimode energy rifles happened to fall into his hands. At the same time, a large number of GN Super Dragoons appearing beside Dawnbreaker Ersterlin, Creation, and Luna Division, Split. Boom. All bullets were fired at the same time, and various cannons wrapped them into hedgehog, with deadly spikes all over their bodies extending infinitely in all directions. Haha, I can't fall behind either. Yulin chuckled and tightened the joystick. I don't know when the full moon behind Luna Division, Split, disappeared. The ultra-long-range sniper rifle in his hand was raised very casually, without any special aiming, and gently pulled the trigger. The purple-black wormhole ray shot out from the muzzle, but every time it moved forward, it hit the non-existent air wall and refracted and split. Clang, clang, clang. The split wormhole ray not only hit the air wall, but also the GN Super Dragoon that moved to perfection at the perfect time, running into the distance. Dozens of enemy planes that surrounded the Flag Abskneden, Cut, were all penetrated, leaving no room for maneuver, without mercy. At this moment, the pupils of Yang Hui, Yulin and Graham were flowing with golden light, and Yang Hui's eyes were still flowing with colorful light. At the same time, Yang Hui entered the transformer mode and turned on the zero-time difference calculation, maintaining a calculation speed of hundreds of thousands of times per second in his brain. Yulin's eyes were also filled with the movement tracks of enemy planes, selecting targets and arranging the order of targets, while Graham's wild intuition was always switching between on and off. Attacks that were impossible for others to avoid were dodged in an instant as if time had stopped, and he counterattacked to eliminate the enemy. This is quite a big battle. Flag Abskneden, Cut, charged forward, passing between 2 flying dragon-like Ma. Dogra. The 2 Dogras separated in a second and exploded behind Flag Abskneden, Cut. Nonsense, this is their last struggle, how can it not be big? Yang Hui said unhappily. Don Ersterlin, Creation, had already charged towards Angel Ring, after the first full salvo, and the GN Super Dragoon surrounding it unceremoniously gave the surrounding enemy planes a ticket to hell. Then let's solve it quickly. Graham said, although this feeling is very refreshing, but, do you feel it? Yes. Yang Hui nodded. The next second, in the center of Dawn Ersterlin, Creation, and Flag Abskneden, Cut, countless fine wormhole rays turned around in the enemy's array and gathered here, combining into an unstoppable torrent of destruction, clearing the last section of the road. The next second after the energy torrent dissipated, Dawn Ersterlin, Creation, and Flag Abskneden, Cut, rushed in at the same time. Flagabskneten, cut, was in front, turning into the sharpest arrow, piercing through all obstacles, and Dawn Ersterlin, creation, was behind, sweeping away all enemy planes that wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. In less than 5 minutes, the final line of defense of Angel Ring was ruthlessly torn apart, and Dawn Ersterlin, creation, Flagabskneten, cut, and Angel Ring were close at hand. This thing. It's hard for me to chop it up. Then leave it to me. It just so happens that I have some new moves I want to try. Hearing this, Yang Hui grinned, outlining a dangerous and crazy arc. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1427 Wormhole Cannon? It's a wormhole sword. As soon as the words fell, Dawn Ersterlin, creation, disintegrated its weapons into golden particles again, and at the same time, its wings spread out to the maximum extent. The golden light around it became more and more shining, and the golden particles gushed out like a majestic river, and for a moment, the surroundings of Angel Ring were all dyed with the golden color, which made people unable to open their eyes. But it came and went quickly. The dazzling golden light lasted only a few seconds before disappearing without a trace, as if it had never happened. Wow? Have you been able to do this? Graham did not doubt that Yang Hui's so-called new move was just a trick similar to a giant flash bomb. He clearly saw that on the other side of Angel Ring, an identical Dawn Ersterlin creation appeared. The two, Dawnbreaker Ersterlin creation, were like each other in the mirror, their wings folded at the same time, the golden light gathered on their raised hands, gradually turning into purple-black. The purple-black light that shot up into the sky built two tilted towers above the Angel Ring, crossing each other. As the Dawnbreaker Ersterlin creation's arm slowly fell, like a ruthless executioner, it dropped the heavy gate in its hand. Damn. What kind of monsters are these? They are definitely not human. Toshiro Vigo, who had already hidden in the Angel Ring, looked at the battle performed by Dawnbreaker Ersterlin creation and other machines and cursed. Although he had received a lot of intelligence, heard personal accounts from Chronaglaisha and others, and read combat records, he was not a magnanimous person. In his opinion, these oral accounts and combat records were lies fabricated to reduce guilt, especially for a waste like Chronaglaisha, who had always lost on the battlefield and was promoted all the way under the favoritism of his sister. However, until this moment, the lie really happened in front of him. No matter how far-fetched it was, he could not deny the existence of the fact. Sir, the guards division encountered the enemy. Don't worry about them. Toshiro Vigo didn't have the energy to care about Maria Ammonia's guards division at this time. They were originally used as abandoned pawns and cannon fodder. It would be best if they all died. As for the 3 colonies they were responsible for protecting, they were also within his range of abandonment. Since the Federation army dared to destroy the colonies without scruples, they lost their value. Chief Kaiser reports that the enemy has deployed many landing craft. Landing craft? Yes. Hearing this, Toshiro Vigo stroked his chin and began to think. Did the Federation army care about the safety of the colony satellites? Why did they need to deploy landing craft and marines? Could it be? Thinking of the possibility that the accuracy rate is very high, Toshiro Vigo smiled for the first time since the battle began. You are indeed a group of hypocritical people, haha. Since you took the initiative to get in, don't blame me for being rude. As he spoke, Toshiro Vigo placed the metal box that he always carried with him in front of him. When he opened it, he saw a sophisticated device. He took out a key from his arms, inserted it into the hole and turned it. His finger rested on the red start button. By the way, I can kill Kakashi and Maria. From now on, Zansker is mine. Your last wish, let me inherit it, although I don't have to complete it. Ha. Amidst the laughter, Toshiro Vigo pressed the red button, but the next second, the laughter of confidence and victory froze on his face, because the device did not start successfully, but flashed a bright red failed. How is it possible? Toshiro Vigo couldn't believe that what was happening before his eyes was real. He continued to press the red button without giving up. He repeated it more than 10 times, but it still showed failed. Finally, Tassilo Vega was so angry that he threw the device away with a ferocious face. Damn it. These damn bastards. Why were they discovered? Why didn't they notice the actions of the Federation Army? Tassilo Vega was not incompetent. The failure of the gas bomb to start, combined with the Federation Army sending landing craft into the 3 colonies, and the differences between the colonies, he understood everything. He had lost this war from the beginning. The Federation Army quietly found out that he and von Kakashi had placed poison gas bombs on all the colonies to limit the Federation Army's large-scale attack. Before launching a general attack on the Angel Ring, they took advantage of the gap when all the defense forces were withdrawn to send people to dismantle the poison gas bombs they had placed, and cut off all information channels to prevent him from knowing. Then, at the beginning of the war, they directly destroyed the colonies full of fanatics to show their determination. Finally, when Tassilo Vega thought that the Federation Army didn't care about the safety of the colonies at all, they sent a special operations team to control 3 colonies that were still deterrent from the rear, making them completely lose all means to restrain the Federation Army. In the final analysis, it was the poor intelligence. The Federation Army took advantage of the poor intelligence and took the lead step by step, and played Tassilo Vega around. Von Kakashi, who was originally in charge of the local imperial capital, is gone too, right? Don't be too proud. I still have. The originally ruthless Tassilo Vega thought of the 20,000 people who were used as tools in the Angel Ring where he was, and, a crucial card, but he also thought that he lost because of poor intelligence. He was not sure whether the Federation Army knew the true identity and situation of these 20,000 people and the trump card in his hand, nor did he dare to be self-righteous and think that the Federation Army cared about these 20,000 people. Commander. Call the Federation Army. I still have 20,000 people. If they don't stop the attack immediately, we will kill them all. This. Also, tell them that I still have a person who is crucial to their members, Shakti Shadi. At the same time, order the rear troops to lock the muzzles of their guns on the 3 colony satellites. Commander. Go. But. Buzz. 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 At this moment, the alarm suddenly rang out in his command center. What happened? Sir. 2 high-energy reactions appeared near Angel Ring. Damn it. Send my order quickly. At the same time, call up the optical image. Tassilo Vega knew that his life was hanging by a thread. If he couldn't send the order, Angel Ring would be in danger. Yes. The optical image was projected on the big screen. 2 Erstellen, creation, sandwiched Angel Ring from the left and right. The rich energy between their hands burst out. The high tower of black light passed by Angel Ring and crossed over the head of Angel Ring. Huh? What? The other party didn't dare to take action directly. It turned out to be a hypocrite. What? Just when Tassilo Vega thought that Yang Hui didn't dare to take action and only dared to use heavy artillery to deter, the heavy artillery in his eyes suddenly became extremely sharp and turned into a sharp blade to cut down. Chapter 1428. The 3 giants standing together. The black giant sword fell and passed through the Angel Ring without any hindrance, as if it were an illusion. However, in the next second, the huge Angel Ring stopped rotating and was evenly cut in half from the center line. The smooth cut surface was comparable to a clean mirror. When did you make it? Graham asked curiously when Flagabskneden, cut, came to Dawn Erstellen, creation. Yang Hui was very powerful in this move. Unlike the ability of a real clone, he relied on the sublimated GN particles and powerful mental waves to condense an identical machine on the spot. The condensation distance can exceed 20 kilometers, far exceeding Destiny clone, and the existence time is also greatly exceeded. Moreover, Dawn Erstellen, creation's ability is Erstellen, creation, can create one. Is there a second? A third? A fourth? Dozens or hundreds of Yang Hui, what a terrifying power. I've always had this idea and I have been trying, but I only succeeded recently. Yang Hui's breath was a little unstable. It was not so easy to create a Dawn Erstellen, creation, and control it remotely. So, you can. No, it's just a drone. The cockpit is empty. I'm controlling it remotely. Yang Hui knew what Graham wanted to ask. If there was another Yang Hui in the Dawn Erstellen, creation, created by Yang Hui, it would be too scary and too dangerous. Creating life is a taboo. Technologies such as photocopying and cloning were sealed because they violated this taboo. Once Yang Hui can create life, or even create humans out of thin air, then Yang Hui will no longer have any restrictions and will completely become a monster. Imagine being able to create yourself or others infinitely. Who wouldn't worry about whether he is still himself? Will he be replaced? Or has he been replaced? The current limit is 1, the maximum distance is 25 kilometers, the maximum existence time is 5 minutes, and the consumption is medium. Yang Hui said all the data of his new move, within 30 minutes, I can't build a second one, and I will completely lose my combat ability after using it 4 times at most. That's also very powerful. 5 minutes, 2 of you, who can beat you? Graham complained, not knowing whether Yang Hui was expounding on his own ability or being Versailles. What? No confidence. Yang Hui's mouth curled up in a playful arc, teasing Graham. Haha, you still like to joke so much? Graham also laughed, very excitedly and enthusiastically. The stronger you are, the more excited I will be. If you don't make progress, I will be very bored. Ha ha ha. At this time, Luna Division also came to the side of the two machines to merge, and the shadow appeared beside Yang Hui and Graham, covering his mouth and laughing softly. The 3 of them came from hell together and joined hands to become the 3 mountains standing on the top of the Promised Legion. Although Yulin has always been the most gentle and kind, she has never fallen behind, and has never been robbed of her mountain by others. She has worked hard in her own way and has not been left behind by Yang Hui and Graham. But, you have new moves, Yulin, you must have to, right? Graham looked at Yulin again. His biggest competitor in this life is Yang Hui, but it does not mean that he only has Yang Hui as a challenge target. Yulin is also one of them. More than 50 kilometers, within 5 minutes, I can't get close, I will lose. This is the answer Graham gave when everyone asked Graham who was stronger between him and Yulin after Yulin boarded the Drestriga. At the speed of Flagabskneten, cut, a mere 50 kilometers is a very short time, but Yulin and Luna Division, split, are not target standing still, and their speed is not low. In addition, Yulin's most terrifying thing is not only her super long-range sure-hit sniping, but also her painting-like containment shooting. That is her absolute domain. The seemingly insignificant containment shooting lures the prey step by step into the trap of death. Moreover, Yulin's talent is trajectory prediction, which can see the target's movement trajectory for several seconds or even tens of seconds. Even if adjustments are made, the movement trajectory seen will immediately change. This talent completely restrains Graham's wild intuition. This, I won't tell you. Yulin's gentleness is playful. Graham is also an important brother to her. The bond established by the 3 of them at the beginning cannot be broken by anyone. Alice, Yulin has also learned bad things. Lux can't escape the blame. Yulin is very gentle and has never been naughty. Now that she has become like this, it must be her sisters who are to blame. And among all the sisters, only Lux, the monster, has this ability. I will tell Lux Yulin continued to be naughty and told Graham to tell snitches. Oh, I'm not afraid of that monster. Yang Hui. Leave it to you. Graham said what he meant in the bravest tone. Anyway, she was Yang Hui's wife, so let him take care of it. It's none of my business. Yang Hui would never take the blame. He had to be careful when dealing with Lux, so why would he care about her? Ho ha ho ha. Okay, let's stop chatting here. We are still fighting now. Don't be too insulting. Yang Hui reminded Graham and Yulin. Tisk, we all took action, which is already bullying. Although they were chatting, Yang Hui, Graham and Yulin did not stop to drink tea. They were still destroying the enemy during the chat. Countless enemy planes had been destroyed in their hands. It happened that a purple-black sword light extended out during the slashing process, cutting the 2 warships horizontally. The wormhole ray left the muzzle and split into countless rays, weaving a dense net, and on these threads that made up the net, there were several enemy planes hanging. Not far away, the Cheyenne Fleet, Victor Fleet and White Fortress had completely torn the direction of the Zanskar Empire apart. The destruction of Angel Ring became the last straw that broke the camel's back. The command system collapsed completely, and the trump card for the final reversal was destroyed. The originally somewhat stable front was shattered at the touch of a button. Some of them still had ambition to fight on their own, or they might have fled in fear. And they, after all, were just prey waiting to be hunted. Cheyenne and Victor showed no mercy. They would not accept any surrender or prisoners. Wherever they went, they would kill the enemy. The entire reef universe was filled with smoke and explosions, and brilliant fireworks bloomed one after another. Huh? That's... At this moment, huge wings of light spread out in the distance. Every flap would bring a large number of deaths. At the connection point of the huge wings of light, the small V2 Gundam rushed over. Colonel Yang Hui. Please. Please save Sadie. Chapter 1429. It has to be. Colonel Yang Hui. Please. Please save Sadie. V2 Gundam broke through the chaotic blockade of the Zanskar Empire at a very fast speed and came to the front of Dawn Erstellen creation. Without even stopping, it rushed towards the collapsed Angel Ring. Calm down, Husuo, what happened? Dawn Erstellen creation stopped V2 Gundam. Angel Ring was collapsing. If V2 Gundam rushed in rashly, it would be in fatal danger. Sadie is still in there. Please let me save her. Husuo said anxiously. He used to admire the beautiful and mature Katagena, but after going through so many things, he found that the person he should really cherish was Shakti Karin, who had always been with him. Since he went to the universe, he had lost contact with Shakti Karin. At first, Husuo thought that Shakti Karin stayed in a safe area on Earth. As a result, after Mobet and the others reunited, they found out that Shakti Karin had secretly boarded the ship of the Holy Military Alliance with her children to find him in the universe. In that encounter, they were accidentally hit by the outer armor of the cabin, causing them to drift out and their whereabouts are unknown. Husuo asked Yang Hui for help, and Yang Hui naturally did not refuse. He ordered Cruz's intelligence department to help find Shakti Karin, but he never got any results. And just now, Husuo found Shakti Karin. No, not just Husuo, but everyone knew that just 1 second before the Angel Ring was cut by Dawn Erstellen creation, the Global Federation Army received an emergency communication from the Angel Ring, which threatened them with 20,000 people from the Angel Ring. No one paid attention to this. They all knew in advance what the situation of the 20,000 people in the Angel Ring was. They were either unconscious clones or brainwashed biological parts, and they could not be saved. But in the end, the information mentioned the existence of Shakti Karin, which made Husuo uneasy. He never thought that Shakti Karin was actually in the Zanskar Empire and on the Angel Ring. Coincidentally, just after seeing this message, the sword of Erstellen creation fell and completely cut the Angel Ring. This made Husuo very anxious. He immediately violated the military order, abandoned the current combat mission, and spread his wings of light to rush towards the Angel Ring that was collapsing. Calm down, Husuo. The person in the Angel Ring is not Shakti Karin. Yang Hui reminded Husuo. Just now, he also saw the message sent by the Angel Ring before it was destroyed. Yang Hui has always known that Shakti Karin is in the Zanskar Empire. It is not just a memory. After he told Cruz, the intelligence department quickly found Shakti Karin in the capital of the Zanskar Empire. However, because Shakti Karin is still useful in the Zanskar Empire and there is no plan to launch a large-scale attack on the Zanskar Empire in a short time, Yang Hui did not tell Husuo about this news. Just before the battle began, Yang Hui received a report from Cruz that the real Shakti Karin was already under Cruz's protection and could be sent away from the Zanskar Empire at any time. And the Shakti Karin on the Angel Ring was either fabricated by Tassiro Vego or a clone of Shakti Karin. As for how to distinguish between the real person and the clone, the Promise Corps had developed a rigorous and accurate verification procedure long before the crisis of the photocopy man. Yang Hui can be sure that the Shakti Karin under Cruz's protection is definitely the real person. Even if there is a Shakti Karin on the Angel Ring, it must be a clone. Colonel Yang Hui. The intelligence department has found the real Sadie, and she is under their protection. Husuo, calm down. Angel Ring has begun to collapse. It is very dangerous for you to rush in now. Yang Hui persuaded. Is this true? Colonel Yang Hui, is Sadie really safe? Husuo was so worried that he lost his mind. After all, the fanatics of the 3 colonies and the 20,000 people of Angel Ring were ignored. It's true. After the battle is over, I can arrange for you to talk to Sadie, and you will meet soon. Yang Hui persuaded, and took the V2 Gundam away from Angel Ring. I know, I believe you, Colonel Yang Hui. Well, end this battle as soon as possible and escort the colony out. Understood. Seeing the V2 Gundam returning in the direction from which it came, Yang Hui breathed a sigh of relief. He was really worried that Huo would completely lose his mind and make a fuss. In that case, he would have to throw the V2 Gundam back. Not to appease him, Graham asked. In order to prevent Huo from knowing the content of the conversation, they used the Siegfried network to communicate. The Legion's verification technology has confirmed it, Yang Hui said. But the person who verified it was Cruz. That's not important. Is it important? No, it's not important at all, Yang Hui said with a grim face. If Cruz said she is, then she is. Even if she is not, then she is. Yang Hui has great confidence in Cruz. You have confidence in all aspects. The situation Graham described is likely to be the truth, but Cruz's report is that the real Shakti Karan is next to Cruz, so Yang Hui believes that it is the real Shakti Karan. And if it is fake, it can't be hidden from Huo. Huo's mental wave is very strong, Yang Hui reminded Graham. Okay, I'm too suspicious. Graham shrugged. Even though they have been companions for so long, even though they have fought side by side in danger countless times, Graham still habitually doubts Cruz. It's not just Cruz, many people in the army are like this. There's nothing they can do. Who told Cruz, the old coin, to almost exterminate the humans in the Gundam seed world? Just thinking about it makes people scared. It's almost done, let's get ready to end it. Yang Hui glanced at the radar detection system. There were no enemy planes around them. All the enemy planes that burst out courage in despair had been killed by them. The enemies who were sinking in despair would only flee as far as possible and would never take the initiative to approach these three killers. The Zanskar army in the Reef universe has gone from a sea of red to only sparse red dots. And, most importantly, the three rescued colony satellites have retreated to a safe distance, so, Cheyenne, Victor, Blade, stop moving forward. Understood. X3 as the order was issued, the two fleets and the White Fortress just stopped at the edge of the safe range. If they moved a little further forward, they would enter the dangerous area circled by Yang Hui. Then, Luna Division and Flagabskneten turned into meteors and flew backwards at high speed, leaving only Don Ersterlin, Creation, with his right hand raised high. The dark dot expanded rapidly and soon turned into a sphere with a diameter of more than 10 kilometers. In the sphere, the light of the flame was flowing in the inky black light. Don Ersterlin, Creation, threw it casually, and the huge wormhole energy ball flew towards the collapsed angel ring, and at the same time turned into a stream of light and disappeared on the spot. Buzz. Chapter 1430 The Growth of the Two. Really? That's great. Don't worry about me, Huo. Mr. Cruz didn't make things difficult for me and my mother. Sadie, you really are. Well, although it's hard to accept, it's true. I can only accept it. After all, she is my mother. After the battle, Yang Hui fulfilled his promise and allowed Huo and Sadie to communicate remotely. Isn't this great? Huh? You finally found your family. Huo sincerely congratulated Shakti Karan. Compared to his parents who were away from home for many years, Shakti Karan really didn't know who his parents were. Well, facing Huo's congratulations and blessings, Shakti Karan found it difficult to accept for a while. She found that Huo had changed, or rather, Huo, you have grown up. Aren't you the same? Huo smiled happily. Yes, both he and Shakti Karan have grown up, not only in ability, but also in character and mentality. For example, when Huo wanted to join the Holy Military Alliance to fight against the Zanskar Empire, Shakti Karan persuaded Huo not to care about these things and just live a peaceful life. For example, if Huo knew that Shakti Karan's mother was the queen of the Zanskar Empire and his biggest enemy, he would be very uncomfortable and entangled. But now Huo can sincerely congratulate Shakti Karan, and Shakti Karan will no longer stop Huo from participating in dangerous battles, and wants to contribute her own strength. This is growth. Huo, I can't see you for the time being, Shakti Karan said hesitantly. Do you want to stay in the Zanskar Empire? Huo asked after 2 or 3 seconds of silence. I'm not staying here forever, it's just... Shakti Karan thought for a moment and decided to tell Huo about her decision. I already know that the angel ring has been destroyed. Mr. Cruz and my mother are a little unhappy. Although I also know that the Zanskar Empire has done many cruel things, but the people living here are innocent, and I want to help them. I'll go help you. Husuo said. Shakti Karan was stunned. She was originally prepared to be dissuaded, refuted, and even scolded by Husuo. After all, Husuo has always regarded the Zanskar Empire as the biggest enemy, and her behavior can be called betrayal. So at first Shakti Karan didn't plan to tell Husuo about her decision, but she felt Husuo's growth, plus his friendly attitude towards her finding her mother, so she decided to tell him, also to prevent him from worrying. Originally, Husuo supported her, which was already a fluke. Unexpectedly, Husuo actually took the initiative to propose to come to the capital of the Zanskar Empire to help her. This was something Shakti Karan couldn't imagine. It must be difficult for you too, right? I don't know much, but I can still protect you. Husuo explained. No, Husuo, don't worry about me. Red clouds appeared on Shakti Karan's dark skin, especially when she heard the 3 words protect you, which made her heart jump. Is it really okay? Husuo confirmed again. It's okay, Husuo, don't worry about me. Mr. Cruz will stay here to help me for the time being. Mr. Cruz is very powerful. Well, I know, Mr. Cruz, I know, you will be fine with him helping you. Husuo had met Cruz before. When they first met, he felt that he was a very dangerous man, which made Husuo subconsciously afraid and stay away from him. But when he learned that he was Yang Hui's companion and one of the top strong men, even if he didn't like to contact Cruz, he believed in his strength. His style might be different from theirs, but he must not be a bad person. Shakti Karan was very happy to hear this, because Husuo had really grown up and would not let his personal feelings affect his judgment. She had come up with the decision to help the Zanskar Empire, not only because her mother was Maria Ammonia, but also because she had lived in the Zanskar Empire for a period of time and knew the local customs and practices here. If Husuo came rashly, the two sides, who were originally enemies, would not understand each other, and it would be easy to cause misunderstandings. However, Shakti Karan was also very disappointed, because this meant that she and Husuo could not meet in a short time and could only communicate through remote communication. Huso, are you done? The maintenance team of V2 Gundam is having a hard time, and I want you to help. At this time, Edge St. Claus came over and knocked on the door of Huso's room to ask. I'll be there soon. The arrival of Edge St. Claus just stopped the awkward situation of Huso and Shakti Karan, who didn't know what to say for a while. Then Huso reluctantly said goodbye to Shakti Karan. I'm going to be busy, Sadie, you have to pay attention to rest, don't work too hard. Yet, I'll take good care of myself, Huso, you should not be too tired. No problem. In the capital of the Zanskar Empire, in Shakti Karan's room in the palace, Shakti Karan sighed after hanging up the phone. She was also reluctant, but there was no way. She had made up her mind, so she had to work hard to do it. Really? Miss Shakti, in fact, your mother is enough for the Zanskar Empire. Cruz's voice came slowly. When he was communicating just now, he had been beside Shakti Karan, just standing outside the camera's shooting range. Cruz had a good sense of this little girl. This period of time, whether it was wandering in a foreign country or returning to her hometown, had changed her a lot. Her growth was also amazing, especially. It's okay, Mr. Cruz, I'm still needed here, and my mother needs me too. Shakti Karan's eyes were always fixed on Cruz, not only to express her determination, but also to observe Cruz. Those smart eyes seemed to see through Cruz completely. Unbelievable mental waves, Miss Shakti. Cruz used gentle mental waves to stop Shakti Karan's prying, and kindly reminded her, because of your relationship with Huso Eben, I can ignore your prying, but please don't be too stubborn. After all, I am a very dangerous person. I have no doubt about this, so I want to stay and help my mother. Very good determination, Miss Shakti. With that, Cruz walked to the door and made a gentleman's gesture to Shakti Karan. Please follow me to see your mother. Chapter 1431 Heading to Planet Parida. After the battle, Yang Hui held a remote meeting with Shyam, Victor and Sanai Greywall in the conference room of the White Fortress. Shyam's fleet and Victor's fleet were responsible for cleaning up the battlefield. After the White Fortress joined the Dreskliga, they did not stay in the Reef universe for long. After all, they still had many tasks, such as Colonel Yang Hui, I want to go to Parida. Daba also participated in this meeting. Dreki Cruz's next action focus will be on Pentakona and Ulugru. Completely eliminating the known threats in the universe is the first step of the action plan discussed by Wong and Rebel, and, for now, only these two forces can determine the base. Other hostile forces cannot determine the base, so they cannot completely eliminate the threat of the other side. Can you tell me the reason? Yang Hui asked Daba. According to the original plan, Satstar had been suppressed by the fleet led by Hulken. As the leader of Satstar, Valfrat saw the fleet of the Promised Legion coming and immediately chose to surrender after receiving the surrender notice. But this woman was incredible. She could negotiate with the Promised Legion without armed forces and gain benefits from it. Moreover, according to known intelligence, Daba and Valfrat were old acquaintances and had a close relationship. If Daba wanted to go to Satstar, it would be understandable, but Paradistar, that was a resource satellite. No one of Daba's acquaintances was on it. Although this resource satellite had not been taken down, the troops were not many. Jeffrey had already planned to take action and it would not take much effort to get it done. Now Daba wanted to go to Paradistar, there must be some very important reason. The death merchant Amandala sent me an invitation through a secret channel. Daba did not hide it and reported truthfully. In his contact with Yang Hui, he fully understood that Yang Hui was a typical soft-hearted person who was very good to his own people and very cruel to the enemy. Moreover, Yang Hui had a strong sense of responsibility and would not take his men to take risks just because of unclear intelligence. Death Merchant Amandala. Yang Hui frowned slightly. This was the first time he heard of this name. Tell me more about this person. Okay. Daba didn't know much about Amandala. He had only met him a few times when Amandala provided weapons to the resistance organization where Daba was. His full name is Amandala Commanderla. He is the leader of the Amman Chamber of Commerce, which is second to none in the Star Cluster. He made a fortune by making war money. He's known as the Death Merchant. He has conducted many arms transactions with the resistance army. Not only that, I heard that he also maintains a trading relationship with the regular army of Pentakona. Weapons merchant? Why would such a person send you an invitation? Did the message clearly say so? Yang Hui asked. In the message he sent me, he mentioned that if we want to defeat Pentakona, he can provide help. As for what kind of help, the message did not specify, but asked me to meet him alone before Paradal was taken down. Daba said. Based on your understanding of this person, how high is the possibility of a trap? Yang Hui thought for a moment and asked Daba. Not very high. Although he is a death merchant, he is still very qualified as a businessman. At least he has never disappointed people in terms of integrity. Daba expressed his impression of Amandala. Captain Sanai, tell Jeffrey to suspend the attack and Dreki Cruz to turn to Parada. Yang Hui made a decision after thinking for a moment. Okay, Colonel Yang Hui. Xianmu, Victor, Zensker is left to you. Cooperate with Cruz to merge into the Federation in the shortest possible time. Understood. X2 After the communication ended, Sanai Grewale went to the bridge to contact Jeffrey of the 21st Fleet and announced the next direction of action. Thank you very much, Mr. Yang Hui. Daba expressed his gratitude to Yang Hui. As companions, Yang Hui really trusted them 100%. Don't be so polite, Daba. If there is no trust between companions, there is no need for this world to exist. Yang Hui said with a smile. You are right. Daba nodded. Yang Hui has always trusted his companions 100%, but there is one important point, that is, not everyone is qualified to be regarded as a companion by Yang Hui. By the way, Daba, what do you think of this woman named Poseidor? Yang Hui asked Daba. Although Daba had reported all the information when he first boarded the ship, now they were chatting privately. In different occasions and atmospheres, chatting from different angles, maybe there would be new discoveries. To be honest, I don't know how to evaluate it. Daba thought about it, and finally shook his head with a wry smile. If it weren't for Colonel Yang Hui, I wouldn't be sure that she was actually a woman. Is it really always a man in the external propaganda? Yang Hui asked. Yes. Daba nodded very confidently. Everyone thought that Poseidor was a man. Even the group of people who established a unified regime of Pentakona with her at the beginning said that she was a man. That's very strange. Yang Hui touched his chin. If she was a confidant, wouldn't she even know her gender? Maybe it was fake news to consolidate the rule. After all, after such a long time, and with so many people talking about it, the fake has become true. Daba thought for a while and said. There is such a possibility. Colonel Yang Hui, have you found anything? Daba asked. Yang Hui always felt that there was something wrong with Poseidon, so he didn't eliminate Punta Cona's power in the solar system at the first time, but he didn't find any useful clues. Not yet. Yang Hui shook his head helplessly. If I had found out what was going on, I would have taken action against Punta Cona a long time ago. That's true. Hearing this, Daba couldn't help but twitch his mouth. This is really Yang Hui's style. After confirming the hostile relationship, if there is no accident, it is to completely eliminate it with thunder and lightning. It can tolerate that Punta Cona is still jumping around now. By the way, the latest intelligence from the intelligence department, there's news about your fiancé. Yang Hui suddenly thought of something and said. Really? Daba looked at Yang Hui in surprise. Well, I'll look for it. I found it. Yang Hui took out his pad and searched for it. He found the information and showed it to Daba. Your fiancé, Kuvazin Alibi, is the commander of the Guards Division of the Punta Cona Regular Army. What? This? How is this possible? Daba couldn't believe it. How could his fiancé defect to Porzelda? Question mark. There is a blood feud between them. But, the information was really in front of him. Daba didn't believe that the intelligence department of the Promise Corps would pass on false information, especially the information reported to Yang Hui. Colonel Yang Hui, there must be some hidden secrets. Daba said to Yang Hui, his eyes filled with a pleading light. Don't worry, I have passed on the order to capture Kuvazin Alibi alive. If I meet her, I will help you catch her. Thank you very much, Colonel Yang Hui. Chapter 1432 Transaction. Sir. Jeffrey, what's the situation? No change. Punta Cona seems to have abandoned this resource satellite. No reinforcements have arrived. Stay alert. Understood. After the Battle of the Zanskar Empire, Dredge crews immediately set out to the space region where Parada is located and met up with the 21st Fleet led by Jeffrey. Because Parada has not been taken down yet, and according to Mandela's request, only Daba can go there alone, so corresponding protection measures must be taken. This is a miniature camera and communicator. In critical moments, it can also deploy a small GN force field. It can be controlled by your mind or by our remote control. Just stick it behind your ear, and there are these. Yang Hui stuck a thin, paper-like device behind Daba's ear while introducing its functions to Daba. He also handed him 2 small pens in a lightweight square box. These 2 pens are nano-energy guns. You can deploy them by pressing the button at the end. Each has a capacity of 5 rounds. They are powerful enough to kill people. And the square box is a nano-space suit. If you need to escape urgently, use this to escape back to the universe. We will pick you up. Oh, Colonel Yang Hui, is this an exaggeration? Daba stood stiffly and let Yang Hui and the scientific researchers install various protective measures and debug them for him. There were only 1 or 2 of these things, and Daba didn't think there was anything wrong with them. But Yang Hui was like Doraemon at this moment, constantly taking treasures out of his 4th-dimensional pocket. Not only Daba himself, but even the other onlookers were stunned, with their mouths twitching. No. Yang Hui said to Daba seriously, I don't doubt that Amandla you said has the integrity of a businessman, but the other party is an arms dealer, so don't have too high expectations of his character. It is the basic of arms dealers to eat both ends. I understand. Amandla must have integrity. After all, he is an arms dealer. If he doesn't have integrity, it is impossible to develop into a top chamber of commerce in a star cluster, but, since we are talking about integrity, we must be honest with all customers, such as the other party's customers who may exist. If Daba hadn't told Yang Hui that Amandla's methods were extraordinary and elusive, and that the regular army of Punta Cona had spent a lot of time and energy searching for him many times but to no avail, Yang Hui would have directly ordered Jeffrey to capture the Paradise Star and capture Amandla alive. After all, the methods of the alien star system, there is nothing wrong with being cautious. Graham and I will be on standby in the outer layer of Parada in the pilot's unit. If something unexpected happens, don't be stubborn and send a signal immediately. No problem. After explaining all this, Daba boarded the shuttle and headed for Parada under the escort of Dawn Ersterlin, Creation, and other units. After the restricted range, Daba went forward alone. As for how to pass the inspection of Punta Cona, Daba said that Amandla had prepared a smooth road for him. Yang Hui, Daba has entered Parada. Jeffrey, deploy the formation and focus on guarding the left and right wings. Xia, Lala, You take people to watch the rear of the fleet, and the others should pay attention to hiding themselves. Graham, let's go. Understood. XN. Amandala should have reached some kind of deal with the Pentacona garrison of Parida, so the shuttle Dabba took entered Parida unimpeded after the initial identity verification. Tisk, damn death merchant. Dabba cursed in his heart. Although he accepted Amandala's invitation, it did not mean that he had a good relationship with Amandala. In fact, Dabba wanted to kill Amandala. Originally, he was just looking for his missing fiancée during his wandering, and he was not a member of the resistance. But what made him want to join the resistance to overthrow Positor's dictatorship and bring peace and hope to Punta was not only the drawbacks of Positor's dictatorship, but also the hateful behavior of the death merchants who spread the war for profit. However, every time Dabba met Amandala could grasp his weakness, making him unable to take action and act according to his ideas. For example, this time, the order of killing Amandala was behind defeating Positor, so Amandala's condition of helping to defeat Positor grasped Dabba's weakness again, making him come to Paradise Star alone to meet at the risk of his own safety. Long time no see, Dabba mellowed. Following the instructions, Dabba came all the way to the garrison headquarters of Paradise Star and met Amandala in the office of the Supreme Commander. This was enough for Dabba to confirm one thing: Amandala's identity was definitely not as simple as an arms dealer, otherwise how could Amandala be alone in the office of the Supreme Commander, and he looked like the owner? Feeling threatened, Dabba subconsciously put his hands in his pockets and clenched two pens. If there was any danger, he would escape from here as soon as possible. Don't be so nervous, I won't play any tricks to plot against you. After all, the regular army is just my client, and I don't need to be loyal to them. Amandala saw Dabba's nervousness and explained. That's not convincing at all. Dabba said sarcastically with a serious face, and observed the room at the same time. Apart from the door he came in, the only available escape exit was the window, and this was on the 5th floor. This is the resource satellite of Punta Cana, so letting me, as a member of the rebel army, continue to live should have some meaning, right? In a sense, this galaxy is a very attractive market, originally. Then I'm really sorry, your business can't be done in the solar system. Dabba sneered and mocked. The original Earth was indeed the most perfect market for weapons merchants like Amandala. Whether it was the Earth or the universe, various forces were constantly fighting, and the Earth Federation as the main body was also at a disadvantage in military technology. This was the best customer. However, after the arrival of the Promise Corps, everything changed. The corruption within the Earth Federation was quickly cleaned up, and the hostile forces faced were eliminated one after another, and the threat was lifted little by little. In addition, the other party had military weapons that frightened Amandala, so he couldn't sell the goods in his hands. So, I want to make a deal with you, Dabba. What deal? Bring him in. Amandala used the phone on the table to contact the person outside. Soon, the door was opened and several fully armed soldiers rushed into the room. They also detained a woman with long red hair, who was an acquaintance of Dabba. Lacey. Chapter 1433, Lacey. Dabba. Why are you here? Run. The woman brought in was an old acquaintance of Dabba, Rezi, the 13th seed of the former Punta Cana Secret Intelligence Agency, the 13. The 13, the former Punta Cana Secret Intelligence Agency, has a strong voice in all departments of the Positor Army and is set up for the purpose of discovering and eliminating anti-Positor rebels. Although Rezi has a strong and stubborn personality, she also has a side that is prone to depression. She was born in a famous family in the Positor camp. The daughter of the Gao family, her grandfather served as the leader of the 13. Although her family background and strength are impeccable, she feels inferior to being treated carelessly by the army because she is a woman. At first, it seemed that she wanted to join the 3rd seat, Kiwazalava, but after meeting Dabba Melad, who respected women even as an enemy, she was attracted by his sensibility and betrayed the regular army to become Dabba's partner. After arriving in the solar system, Dabba always thought that Lacey did not follow them, but stayed in his hometown to continue leading the resistance army. He did not expect to meet her today, and it looked very dangerous. When she saw Dabba here, Lacey, who had already accepted her fate, struggled hard and reminded Dabba to leave here quickly. Amandala. What is your conspiracy? Dabba looked at Amandala with anger on his face. Although Lacey was not his girlfriend, she was also a very important companion to him. I said, deal. Amandla waved his hand and asked his soldiers to let Lacey go. Anyway, he was surrounded by his people, and he was confident that Daba and Lacey could not make any waves. I will let you leave here safely, but the conditions. What conditions? Daba protected Lacey and moved slowly towards the window. Amandla naturally noticed Daba's little move, but he didn't care, because this was the 5th floor, and there was no buffer outside the window, and escaping through the window was a dead end. It's very simple. Tell me about the unit you are in. I'm quite interested in it, especially these few. As he said, Amandla threw a stack of photos on the table. With Daba's eyesight, he could see very clearly that they were the White Fortress, Dawn Erstellan, Creation, and other successfully awakened Dawn series. It's a good deal, right? Amandla smiled confidently. He had been coveting these powerful weapons and equipment for a long time, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get any useful information, so he thought of Daba, but he knew Daba. He was not the kind of person who would easily betray his companions. This is a coincidence? Lacey sneaked into the Paradise Star under his nose. Didn't he have a bargaining chip? Haha, so what you said about being helpful in defeating poor Zelda was all lie to me? Daba asked Amandla with a sneer. Don't worry, I'm a businessman, and businessmen are honest. Amandla said leisurely. First of all, Lacey is a former member of the 13. With her understanding of Punta Cana, she should be of great help to you, right? And I can also give you some information for free. Kiva's Lova's fleet is lying in ambush around, accompanied by the 4th seat named Mohan, the 7th seat Ted Debelis, the 8th seat Mapu Mactaman, the 9th seat Riot Luo, and the new 13th seat Gabriel. More than a dozen fleets are acting together. Even if you are very strong, it will be a headache, right? Damn it. This guy Kivaza actually dispatched half of the 13. Lacey was sweating profusely at this moment. She used to be a member of the 13, so she knew very well the abilities of the 13, not to mention that there were more than a dozen fleets fighting against them together. They could not escape anyway. On the other hand, Daba was not affected by Amandla at all. On the one hand, he knew that Yang Hui had already made arrangements and guessed that this meeting was not simple, so he did not have to worry about being ambushed. On the other hand, he understood the strength of Yang Hui and others. The situation that seemed to him to be a dead end was not good enough in front of Yang Hui and others. Therefore, what Daba had to do now was to find an opportunity to take Lacey away from here. Only when they were safe, Yang Hui and others outside could fight with peace of mind. Hell, I can't contact anyone now. What's the point of sending me intelligence? Daba planned the escape route while dealing with Amandla. No, this intelligence is just for your reference. Amandla waved his hand and said that he had a good status on the Paradise Star and had certain relationships and power within Pentacona, but it did not mean that he could do whatever he wanted. He could cooperate with Kiwaza, but he could not order the other party, so the situation was ready. The prey had been caught, and Kiwaza would not give up halfway because of Amandla's obstruction. There is no hope for the people outside, but I can save you too. Daba, do you really want to die with those people? Think about it carefully. I am your only hope to survive. Amandla said. So? My companions are gone, how can I defeat poor Zelda? It's very simple. Kiwaza and I will be your new helpers. We are all defeating poor Zelda, so it doesn't matter who we cooperate with, right? What's more, new partners can bring you more powerful strength. Really? Daba had already brought Lacey to the window, his whole body tense, ready to act. I don't think so. You underestimate me too much, and you underestimate Colonel Yang Hui and others too much, Amandla. Huh? I advise you to think about it. This is the 5th floor, Daba. Lacey, believe me. Daba ignored Amandla and looked at Lacey. He had received a call from Yang Hui, asking him to jump out of the window without hesitation. Well, I believe you. Lacey must trust Daba and nodded without hesitation. The next second, in front of Amandla's surprised eyes, Daba and Lacey jumped out of the window. Tisk, are you crazy? What a pity, I thought, something else. He was still regretting that Daba had lost his mind and wanted to die, and that he had lost a good partner, but the next second he was filled with horror, because Daba and Lacey did not fall to their deaths, but stood on something invisible. The next second, the air twisted, and golden particles began to float away. The figure of Dawn Erstellan, Creation, appeared in front of everyone, with his hands raised, holding Daba and Lacey, who jumped out of the window. How is this possible? How did you get in? Amandla asked roaringly. He was very confident in the defense of Parada. Not only were there heavy troops stationed at all exits, but there were also various advanced detection systems to prevent anyone from sneaking into Parada. The result was Amandla. Yang Hui's voice did not have any ups and downs, but it was enough to make people feel cold. Thank you very much for helping us gather everyone together. In return, I will let you live a little longer. As soon as the words fell, Erstalin, creation, flapped its wings, golden particles began to spray, and quickly condensed the GN Super Dragoons around, firing all the bullets at once, plowing all the land except the building in front of them. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1434, Encirclement? Counter-encirclement. Kivra's fleet is lying in ambush nearby, and the fourth commander, named Mohan, is accompanying him. Hearing Amandla's complacency from the communication device behind Daba's ear, Yang Hui raised the corner of his mouth and lamented that he was really underestimated. He immediately said to Daba, "Don't answer, listen to me, your position has been determined, I have already sneaked in, follow my instructions, jump out of the window directly, I will catch you." As early as the beginning, Yang Hui did not deliberately omit part of the battle plan and did not tell Daba the whole plan. It was not because he did not trust Daba, but because he was worried that Amandla or there were high-level mental wave users around him who could sense Daba's thoughts. For his safety, he deliberately concealed part of it. As early as the beginning, Dawn Erstalin, creation, did not take the same route as Flagabskneden, cut. After entering the stealth state, Flagabskneden, cut, came to the designated location according to the formulated combat plan and waited, while Dawn Erstalin, creation, quietly followed a shuttle and sneaked into the interior of the Paradistar, waiting in front of the Commander-in-Chief building of the garrison headquarters. This is the latest research result of Ilya Hutchenberg. It is not only the optical camouflage system of GN particles and phantom particles, but also the mirror shielding system of Ryugu Island. Finally, it also deeply studied the assimilation ability and the SPD ability of everyone, and developed a new hiding system. No, it should be said that it is a hiding method. After all, the biggest core of this ability is actually to simulate Niels, Tarnung, hidden. With the help of the omnipotence of GN particles, the body is hidden in a special subspace to a certain extent. In the entire Promise Core, the only ones who can use this technology, apart from the Macros-class battleships, are the successfully awakened Dawn series, because only they have a high enough assimilation level to use it. Therefore, in front of this stealth technology, Amandla's arrangement is useless. The only disadvantage is that in the stealth state, you can't attack. Once you attack, you will exit the stealth state. Now, the right time has come. Yang Hui immediately gave instructions. Daba and Lacey broke out of the window and fell into the hands of Dawn Erstalin, creation. At the same time, Dawn Erstalin, creation, no longer needs to hide, and showed an elegant figure in front of Amandla. Thank you very much for helping us gather everyone together. In return, I will let you live a little longer. This was a greeting between Yang Hui and Amandla. And, it was not that he could not kill Amandla here, but that he felt a very terrible mental wave from Amandla, even more than his. The strength of this mental wave was unheard of and definitely not something that humans could possess. Daba had a physical examination after boarding, dressed like a. Although he was a visitor from an alien civilization, according to the test information, the people of Punta Cana were almost the same as humans on Earth. The result of asking Daba was that the people of Punta Cana were similar to him, and no special humans similar to new humans were found. The reason why Yang Hui's mental wave could reach such a high level was not only the blessing of the Promise Fortress, but also the increase of the Festum factor. In theory, Yang Hui was no longer a pure human. But Amandla, there must be a special secret, and this secret should be related to the core secret of Punta Cana and the current Poor Zelda. If stimulated, he might jump over the wall and reveal some information. Of course, since they were here and they were going to plot against them, it was impossible for them to just leave. And Parada was originally a target to be conquered and occupied, so Yang Hui was not polite at all. As the wings flapped, golden particles were scattered, and dozens of GN Super Dragoons appeared out of thin air, surrounding Dawn Erstellen, creation, firing all their bullets at once, mercilessly, and instantly turning the entire garrison headquarters into a sea of fire. Colonel Yang Hui, do you have any more nano-space suits? Daba asked Yang Hui anxiously. If Dawn Erstellen, creation, could take him and Lacey directly back to Dressliga, it would naturally be the best choice, but Daba only had one set of nano-space suits, which could only be used by one person. No, I didn't expect you to bring one more person out. Yang Hui replied. This is troublesome. The shuttle may not be used now. Daba was already thinking about how to leave the planet Parada. If his own machine was still there, it would be fine. However, he had learned about Dawn Erstellen, creation, and after the successful awakening of the Dawn series, no one except the pilot himself could enter the cockpit. Once they entered, they would be assimilated as foreign objects. I have a suggestion. At this moment, Lacey said. Although she didn't know Yang Hui, she believed in Daba. My machine is locked in the garrison hangar, and Amandala also got a very powerful big guy. We can take it away. Why didn't you say it earlier? Yang Hui was depressed. Logically, the hangar of the garrison should be in the garrison headquarters, but now the garrison headquarters, except for the commander-in-chief building, is all engulfed in flames, and the hangar must be in it. No, the hangar is not here, but somewhere else. Sir, can you take us there? Lacey explained immediately. Do you have the coordinates? 20 kilometers southwest, but the movement here. It's okay, hold on tight. Dawnbreaker, creation, put his hands close to his chest, protecting Daba and Lacey and moving in the direction indicated by Lacey. Because the two were almost defenseless, they didn't dare to move too fast. It took 2 or 3 minutes to see the shadow of the hangar. And what Lacey was worried about also happened. Because the explosion at the garrison headquarters was too fierce, it alarmed the defenders of Paradise Star. One by one, Miz took off from the hangar and blocked Dawnbreaker, creation. Unfortunately, this is trouble. Lacey looked at the approaching Miz, her face was very ugly. She didn't know the strength of Yang Hui and Dawnbreaker, creation. She only knew that they only had one body, and there were 2 of them as a burden. It was too difficult to rush in and get the body. Calm down, Lacey, believe in Colonel Yang Hui. But Daba was completely different and had great confidence in Yang Hui. Lacey asked, but the next second, she covered her mouth and was stunned. In her sight, the flying posture and path of Dawnbreaker, creation, did not change at all, just like a car driving normally on a wide and empty road, facing the attacking enemy without any intention of fighting. However, dozens of GN Super Dragoons appeared out of thin air again, and the purple-black energy beams accurately penetrated all the attacking enemy planes, or the sharp blades of the sword-type GN Super Dragoons cut them into pieces. The missiles in the entire station did not cause any infection to Dawnbreaker, creation, and they strolled leisurely like a picnic. Until Dawnbreaker, creation, landed on the ground, Lacey could not come back to her senses. Lacey, we should go. Daba reminded Lacey, and there was nothing strange about Lacey's reaction. After all, when he first saw Dawnbreaker, creation's combat performance, it was not much better than Lacey. Oh, okay, follow me. Dawn Erstellen, creation, put Daba and Lacey underground, and once again condensed a large number of anti-personnel weapons to protect the two. As for the Miz, there are no mobile Miz. Ding ding ding. This is Yang Hui, go ahead. Sir, we found a large number of Pentacona troops approaching, we are surrounded. Jeffrey reported to Yang Hui. Then surround them in turn. Except for the Dimension Devourer, all weapons are allowed to be used. There is only one request, annihilate them completely. Understood. Chapter 1435, Kivazalova's chess piece. Orders are coming, everyone. First level combat configuration. Mitsuha Greywall immediately issued an order after receiving it. The Miz troops have already attacked, and everyone can prepare for the battle according to the original plan. Captain, it looks like another tough battle. Renault Harding pushed his glasses behind Mitsuha Greywall. The approximate number of enemy forces is already known. More than a dozen fleets and more than half of the top ace pilots of Punta Cana are not so easy to deal with. Don't worry, Vice Captain Reynolds. Mitsuha Greywall took Reynolds Harding's reminder and worry lightly, and kept a confident smile on her face. We are not fighting alone. As soon as Mitsuha Greywall finished speaking, she could see through the glass that the White Fortress and the flagship of the 21st Fleet outside the window began to transform from battleships to huge misforms. Even the much smaller White Tiger-class ships were half transformed and entered the Macros attack posture. As the sharpest sword of the fleet, the muzzles flashed with deadly light. Then came the Black Tortoise-class frigates. The GN pinpoint defense system was fully deployed, and the large GN force fields were connected to each other in front, forming a solid fortress, which was the toughest shield of the fleet. Commander. The E-detector has reacted. It's the fleet of Punta Cana. We are surrounded. On the flagship of the 21st Fleet, Monica reported to Jeffrey in a hurried tone, but not panic or fear, but expectation and excitement. Well, then tell them that they are surrounded by us. The super heavy quantum reaction cannon begins to charge. Missile launchers number 1 to number 15 are loaded with reaction bombs. K-92 to S-89 areas are covered in a fan shape, and then the secondary guns open fire. Let's give them a big wave first. Understood. XN Monica, remember to send the fire coverage area to friendly forces. Don't repeat it. It's done, Commander. Very good. Reaction bombs are loaded. The secondary guns have locked onto the designated coordinates. The super heavy quantum reaction cannon is charged to 64%, and it is estimated that it will take another 2 minutes to charge. The Assault class has fully deployed large GN force fields. The White Tiger class is all ready, and all battle sequences have been completed, Commander. Sure enough, I'm not cut out to be a fleet commander. It's really a big help to have so many excellent subordinates. Jeffrey pulled down the captain's hat on his head. He never thought that he had the ability to command a reorganized fleet. As the fleet expanded, he was the tallest among the short guys, and his command ability was just barely qualified. He is an expert in commanding Macros-class battleships and has the most experience among them, but he is limited to one battleship, and it is still a bit difficult for him to command such a large fleet. Fortunately, Yang Hui and others took this situation into consideration. When assigning candidates, the captains of Jeffrey's fleet are all very excellent captains who can assist Jeffrey in completing the task of fleet commander. So you have to study hard, Commander. Helmsman Bobby teased. That's right, you only know how to harass female subordinates all day long. Monica, who is obviously Q, blushed for a while, but her slightly squinted eyes made people see that she was shy and extremely shy and enjoyed it. Okay, focus, we are in battle now. Jeffrey's face naturally didn't care about this kind of ridicule. Understood. XN. On the other side, under the command of Kiwazaloa, the fleet of Punta Cana spread an airtight net and surrounded the 21st Fleet and Andretti crews. Kiwazaloa's ambitions have never been small. He is one of the very few people who know that poor Zelda is actually a woman. He is also one of the Punta Cana people who look down on women. Since women can rule Punta Cana, why can't he? He claims to be no worse than anyone else. In this operation, after learning from Amandala about the opportunity to destroy a powerful fleet of the Earth Federation Army, he immediately mobilized all the forces in his hands, borrowed a lot of troops from poor Zelda, and marched towards the Paradise Star. This time, he was not only for merit, but also to show his ability. If he could destroy the powerful fleet that was able to beat the garrison of the capital into a mess, wouldn't it prove that he was better than poor Zelda? And these borrowed troops, as long as this battle can be won, he is confident that he can turn them into his own pawns without any effort, and the power in his hands can easily overthrow poor Zelda's rule. Even Kiwazaloa has already formulated a rebellion plan after the battle. Lord Kiwaza, our fleet has surrounded the enemy. Please give us your instructions. Nain Mohan, the fourth seed of the 13, respectfully asked Kiwazaloa for instructions. She was not Kiwazaloa's subordinate. Although she was one seat behind, her excellent driving skills and combat capabilities made her position in the regular army not low, and she was on par with Kiwazaloa. The reason why she was so respectful. Nain Mohan was Kiwazaloa's lover. Have all the battle plans been released? Unfortunately, to Kiwazaloa, Nain Mohan was just a useful chess piece. Apart from using him, he had no other emotions. All have been passed on. Then let's get started and wipe out this fleet. Lord Kiwaza, the enemy should not be underestimated. We should be careful. Nain Mohan was one of the survivors who participated in the defense of the capital. That's right, survivors. The result of that battle can only be described as tragic. The troops left in the capital to protect Piserta were elite troops among the regular army, but they were still killed in pieces by the enemy army, which was at an absolute disadvantage in numbers. Only 1/10 of the garrison troops survived, and they almost lost Piserta. Nemohan also relied on his outstanding driving skills and did not encounter the opponent's trump card to hold on. Even now, she can't forget that tragic scene and the opponent's monster-like strength. "Do you think I'm not as good as those trash?" Kiwazaloa asked Nemohan in a cold tone. "Don't dare. Then go and execute it. I don't need opinions. I just need obedient people." Kiwazaloa didn't even look at Nemohan, and said coldly, very dissatisfied with Nemohan in his heart. Yes. Nemohan saw that Kiwazaloa was unwilling to listen to her advice again. She was disappointed and a little disheartened, but she had not given up completely at this time. Her love for Kiwazaloa had not completely disappeared. Even though she was disappointed, she followed his orders. Humph, trash. Kiwazaloa, like most people, had only seen the video records but had not personally experienced Drei Cruz's strength. He was arrogant and conceited, so he naturally did not think too highly of Drei Cruz, just because the garrison of the capital was too trash. "I don't need a disobedient pawn. Forget it, you still have some value. Lord Kiwaza. The enemy has multiple high-energy reactions. This is a nuclear bomb. How, as expected, start intercepting." Kiwazaloa's mouth curled up in an icy arc. All of this was within his expectations, so the flagship he was on and the real direct troops were all in the rear, and the ones in front were the cannon fodder he carefully selected. As the dazzling light bloomed in front of him, Kiwazaloa knew that his plan had succeeded. It was very cost-effective to exchange some useless cannon fodder for an impossible number of nuclear bombs. Next, after the power of the nuclear bomb subsides, the entire army will attack and completely destroy it. Lord Kiwaza. The multiple high-energy reactions have not disappeared. What? Chapter 1436 Breakout? Not existent. After the reaction bombs exploded one after another, the flames had not completely dissipated. Two torrents of quantum reaction heavy artillery penetrated through layers of obstacles and penetrated the entire encirclement, opening two huge gaps above the encirclement. One of them even passed by Kiwazaloa's flagship. Although the aftermath of the energy did not twist the battleship into pieces, the violent shock caused made Kiwazaloa feel like he had walked to the gates of hell. "Oh, what on earth is going on?" Kiwazaloa was glad that he survived and immediately asked about the situation. "Master Kiwaza, the encirclement has opened two gaps. Quick! Send someone to plug them. We must not let them escape." Kiwazaloa was still confident that the other party was planning to break through and escape, even though the encirclement had opened two huge gaps. This was a huge credit in his hands and the most important part of his breakfast plan. He must not let them leave. However, he did not expect that the gap opened by the opponent was just the inevitable result of the super-heavy quantum reaction cannon. He did not think about breaking through, but... Lord Kiwaza. Multiple high-energy reactions have occurred again. Avoid. The order to dodge did not even go through Kiwazaloa's brain. He blurted out, first the nuclear bomb, then the super-artillery bombardment he had never seen before. What was next? No matter what it was, he did not want to use his life to test the opponent's power. Sure enough, the purple-red spiral beam, which was much weaker than the two spiral torrents just now, fell into the encirclement of Punta Cana, without stopping, and easily penetrated it. Although it was not as terrible as the two just now, it was better in number. It bloomed everywhere, without blasting a huge gap, and completely tore the encirclement into more than a dozen pieces. Damn it! Reorganize the situation immediately, and never let them break through. Lord Kiwaza. In the bombardment just now, the battleship of Lord Mapu, the 8th seat, was silent. The heavy fighter of Lord Bang, the 11th seat, also lost the signal. Lord Ted, the 7th seat, was hit by the enemy's artillery fire. The heavy fighter was severely damaged and seriously injured. He requested to retreat. They are all rubbish. Let their adjutants take over the command immediately. The encirclement must be maintained. The adjutant is the only surviving officer. Got it. Got it. Lord Kiwaza. The enemy. What's wrong again? The launch of the reaction bomb was a signal to start a war, but only a few minutes had passed. In those few minutes, Kiwazaloa received nothing but bad news, which made the conceited him very angry and humiliated. The enemy has dispersed. Dispersed. Kiwazaloa was stunned. It was very strange, very strange. This shouldn't be the opponent's choice. Although the three attacks caused huge casualties, the fleet surrounding them still had an absolute numerical advantage. There was only one way for the opponent to survive, and that was to concentrate all their forces to break through the encirclement he set up, instead of dispersing and breaking out. Break out, ha. Suddenly, Kiwazaloa found himself in a blind spot. The opponent was not trying to break out at all. It was obvious that he knew he was at the end of his rope and was going to fight to the death. Very good. This was exactly what he wanted. Call out the enemy's distribution map. Yes, Lord Kiwaza. Soon, a battle map was unfolded in front of Kiwazaloa, with green friendly army marks and red enemy army marks displayed in detail on it. Very good. Order each fleet to maintain the encirclement and not to act rashly, and give priority to destroying the enemy's mobile forces. Understood. Kiwazaloa's strategy was correct. In the current war mode, the existence of MIS is indispensable. The joint operations of MIS and fleets are a relationship of mutual complementation and mutual protection. In this war mode, once all the MIS forces of one side are destroyed, the lonely warships can only wait to die. As long as they are stuck by MIS, they are lambs to be slaughtered. Of course, there is a premise. Under normal circumstances. How is this possible? As soon as the order was passed down, Kiwazaloa lost the ability to think, because in his eyes, the green signals representing friendly forces were disappearing in large numbers. What a conceited guy. Yulin's face still maintained a gentle smile, and at the same time, her finger pulled the trigger button. The full moon behind, Luna Division, had long disappeared, split into dust and scattered around. The purple-black wormhole rays refracted and split back and forth in the dust that was invisible to the naked eye. Just one shot achieved the effect of thousands of troops. The dense wormhole ray network enveloped a large area of enemy planes. Yulin could see that the opponent's commander must be a conceited person. Dreki Cruz has experienced several large-scale battles so far, including the capital of Punta Cana. The other party could not be unaware of Dreki Cruz, but in this case, the other party still thought that a little force in his hand could encircle and suppress them. What else could this be if not conceit? To be frank, in the large-scale battle that Dreki Cruz experienced, the enemy troops he faced were less than this time. At least 7,000 or 8,000, and at most tens of thousands, and now? There are only 2,000 or 3,000 troops in total, right? They dared to surround them with such a small force. Aren't they just waiting to be surrounded? Yulin, Yang Hui asked you to take it easy, save your strength, and give others more opportunities to exercise. At this time, Graham's shadow appeared beside Yulin and said to her, "Fake order, right?" Yulin asked Graham with a smile. "Oh, Yang Hui wants me to hold back. He will tell me before the battle up. You think you can only say that because your hands are itching?" Graham was sweating profusely. His deception was so easily seen through. Because his mission was to wait for Dawnbreaker, creation, to leave the interior of Paradise Star and meet Dawnbreaker, creation, and Deborah who were evacuating, so he had to stay at the designated position before Dawnbreaker, creation, came out, but he was a battle fanatic. Watching the exciting battle taking place but not being able to participate in it was more uncomfortable than killing him. "Okay, Graham, there aren't many opponents worth hunting in there, be good, I'm your brother. Shouldn't I be your son-in-law?" Yulin has not forgotten that Graham owes Yang Hui a dad. "Graham, why are all of you evil people in the family?" QQ, boom. At this moment, a big hole was blasted in the outer wall of the Parada planet, and Dawnbreaker Erstrelin, creation, rushed out with 2 unprecedented machines. Oh? Has the war started? Chapter 1437 The Last Loyalty. Damn it. What kind of monster is this? Kiwazaloa immediately called up the clearest optical image. First, the shot from Luna Division achieved the effect of firepower coverage of a reorganized fleet in an unknown way, and, different from the all-round firepower coverage of Fu Yu, according to computer calculations, the hit rate was 100%, no attack missed, and each attack took away at least 3 heavy fighters. Then, countless attacks appeared everywhere out of thin air, and each attack was like the god of death hidden in the shadows, with a deadly sickle swinging down mercilessly, harvesting lives without any notice. There were also Amuro, Camus, and Rita Bernal. The combat power displayed by the 3 was also beyond common sense. In just a few minutes, The number of friendly aircraft killed by the three Mrs. had exceeded 1,000, and even the fleet in one direction was almost slaughtered. How could this be a war? This is simply a massacre. And it was a massacre of the enemies they originally looked down upon. Master Kiwaza. We should gather the remaining troops and retreat immediately. Mohan, who was fighting on the front line, urgently contacted Kiwaza Leva. This time, she was lucky. She was not facing any successfully awakened Dawn series, but the Ms. troops from Dreki Cruise. However, she could only protect herself with the 13th seat, Gabriel Garbert. Shut up. Trash. How could Kiwaza Leva not know that this siege was a complete failure? But he didn't need others to remind him. Especially those who were used as pawns by him. Besides, retreat now? Is it too late? Will the other party let them leave safely? Master Kiwaza. Mohan's heart sank again. All he got for his concern was scolding and insults, which made Mohan more and more disappointed with Kiwaza Leva. Listen. Your location is not the enemy's main attack direction. The other side must have used some explosive means, otherwise they would not be so strong. As long as we can drag on for this period of time, the other side will be trapped. You must hold on, do you hear me? Lord Kiwaza. Kiwaza Leva hung up the communication without waiting for Mohan to refute, and did not give Mohan any chance. Mohan, who knew Kiwaza Leva, knew that Kiwaza Leva was planning to escape, and they, were the abandoned pawns left behind by Kiwaza Leva to delay time. Gabrit. Lord Mohan, please rest assured, I will definitely protect you and leave here. Listen, Gabrit, I will fight for you. Go, find a chance to return to the capital directly, don't look for Kiwaza again, and don't think about revenge for me. Lord Mohan, please don't say that. I, Gabber, will never abandon you to live in disgrace. Very good, I was not wrong about you. Mohan knew that they were in danger. Gabber was a young man she was very optimistic about. She also strongly recommended Gabber to become the new 13th seed after Lacey defected. She didn't want to leave. Kiwaza Leva's abandonment made her disheartened. Now she just wanted to die here as a warrior and retain her last dignity. Gabber, such an excellent young man, was the fire that Mohan kept for Punta Cana, and was also her last loyalty to Punta Cana. But she underestimated Gabber's awareness and his loyalty. Gabber still had a bright future, but his integrity would never allow him to abandon Mohan, who had helped him, and escape alone, especially after knowing that Mohan was determined to die. Gabber, let us die here gloriously. Yes. Lord Mohan. Wait, sir. This is. After breaking through the outer wall of the planet Parada, Dawn Erstellan, creation, came to the side of Flagabskneden, cut, with two brand new heavy fighters, which were the new machine that Dabit Kyang had obtained and Lacey's special machine. Are you okay? Graham asked Yang Hui. If you are asking about the people in Parada, ordinary people are fine, the military facilities are completely destroyed, and 2 trophies were brought out. Yang Hui replied with a smile. Haha, then I can also act, right? Graham asked Yang Hui, but he had been itching for a long time. Go, in that direction. Yang Hui agreed, while Erstellan, creation, raised his arm, pointed in a certain direction and said, there are people retreating over there, they should be trying to escape. Tisk, boring mission. Graham complained, what he wanted was a passionate battle, not to hunt down cowardly rats. Even if he was not strong enough, he still had to have the courage to face him. But even if he complained, he still had to obey the orders given by Yang Hui himself. He could make a fuss in private, but during the battle, Yang Hui's orders were everything. Deba, take her to join our team. According to the intelligence, the people over there are the 4th seat and the new 13th seat. The 4th seat. Mohan? I see, Colonel Yang Hui. The new 13th seat should be Gabber, who was promoted by Mohan. He is an upright man with a strong sense of honor, but he is very loyal to Mohan, while Mohan loves Kiwaza Leva. My lord, if we can capture or kill, or what, I leave the choice to you. Yang Hui said to Daba and Lacey, especially Lacey. He heard that Lacey was suggesting to capture and persuade Mohan and Gabber to surrender, intending to use these two as a token of joining Dreki Cruise. Yang Hui had no idea about Mohan and Gabber. It didn't matter whether to recruit them or not. It would be very easy to kill them. Since Lacey had this idea, Why not let her try? Although Graham, Yuling and the others wre dispersed, Dre Cruz's troops were all in that area, and there were many strong ones. 2 people could not cause any trouble. Thank you very much, Daba. Let's go, Lacey, I will assist you. Thank you, Daba. After Daba and Lacey drove their own machines away, Yang Hui glanced at the Paradis Star behind him, and then looked at the area where the remnants of the Pentacona army were most concentrated, with a dangerous arc at the corner of his mouth. Don Ersterlin, creation, waved his right hand, and the wings behind him stretched to the maximum extent. The golden particles sprayed like a surging wave, immediately dyeing the area where Don Ersterlin, creation, was located with gold. Jeffrey. Sir. Order, all friendly forces in the coordinates E23 to K90 area evacuate immediately. Understood. At this moment, the golden particles condensed into countless GN Super Dragoons around. The shield-type GN Super Dragoons seemed to be scattered in a disorderly manner, and a large number of artillery-type GN Dragoons lined up next to Don Ersterlin, creation. Yuling. Here we come. As soon as the voice fell, Luna Division, split, appeared next to Don Ersterlin, creation, and the 2 machines held hands together. In an instant, emerald green crystals spread, wrapping and fixing the held hands. Fire. Chapter 1438 Nemehonsik's Death. The next second after the emerald green crystals wrapped around the hands of the 2 machines, the GN Super Dragoons condensed by Ersterlin, creation, also began to spread emerald green crystals. After being completely wrapped, they quickly shrank back into the body, and finally had emerald green crystals wrapped around the end. People with mental waves would be able to see that the end of each GN Super Dragoon had a ribbon-like existence connecting Ersterlin, creation, and Luna Division, Fire. Luna Division casually raised the long-range beam rifle in his hand and gently pulled the trigger. However, this shot, without any charge, reached a power beyond the maximum charge. Not only that, even the GN Super Dragoons condensed by Ersterlin also burst into an unimaginable roar at this moment. At the same time, the shield-type GN Super Dragoons moved quickly and unfolded the mirror-like GN field, which was either flat, angular, or folded inward. When the torrent of wormhole energy hit the top, it either turned on the plane, or hit the angular and split into many, or gathered into one place on the folded inward GN field. Boom 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 boom. Ersterlin and Luna Division did not move at all, but there were no enemy planes in the direction they looked. After the fire that connected the sky dissipated, only the debris floating in the universe remained. If it was placed on the Earth, it would pile up into a mountain. Jeffrey. Sir. Notify everyone to end the battle and occupy the planet Parada within 10 minutes. Understood. The joint attack of Yang Hui and Yulin frightened all the enemies who were still fighting, and frightened all the enemies who fled in a hurry so much that they dared not move. It frightened Drestliga and others so much that their jaws were almost dislocated. But why did the members of the Promised Legion stay? Not shocked, not afraid, not panicked, they only had excitement and excitement in their hearts. This was their strongest, this was their benchmark for progress, and this was the commander-in-chief who led them to fight. All forces attack, destroy all enemy forces within 10 minutes, don't let anyone escape. Understood. Zuanwu class, ships 4, 5, and 6, escort, Suzaku class, ships 2, 3, 4, and 5 to land on the Paradis Star. White Tiger class, ships 1 and 2 provide fire cover. Understood. XN is this really, the power that humans should have? So strong, too strong. It's not this kind of power that can't fight real enemies? It seems we have to work harder. Everyone, go. It's time to show the results of our training. After a brief moment of shock and distraction, fear followed, because the power displayed by Yang Hui and Yulin at this moment was not what humans should have, enough to destroy the world. But then, they thought of the existence of the Promised Fortress and the Promised Legion, and thought of the real enemy they were about to face, and what followed was urgency. See? Name Mohan, does poor Zelda have any chance of winning against Colonel Yang Hui? Daba questioned Name Mohan, who was struggling with him. He had fought with Name Mohan and Gabriel Garbett several times. Although they were all enemies, the two of them also made him feel the honor, loyalty and integrity of a warrior. With Lacey's persuasion, he was also trying to persuade Name Mohan to surrender, and kept persuading her, wasting many opportunities to kill. So what? I have no place to stay. Nemohan was desperate and disheartened. At this moment, she burst out with powerful fighting power and was even more willing to sacrifice her life, because she was determined to die. You don't even want to give me the last bit of dignity? Kill me. Dabba. Nemohan. Don't you want revenge? Nemohan. Revenge. Revenge on Kiwaza, who deceived you, used you, and finally abandoned you. Lacey, who was struggling with Gabriel Garbett, suddenly interrupted and questioned Nemohan. There is no meaning anymore. I am sorry to Master Kiwaza. Ah. Dabba. You are so long-winded, it's annoying to watch. At this moment, a large bird wrapped in flames flew around the battlefield, and the raging flames burned the surrounding enemies to ashes. Finally, it returned to its silver and elegant appearance, and appeared beside Nemohan's body in the blink of an eye. The sword flashed, cutting off the body's limbs in all its combat power. Masaki. We are in battle now, Dabba. We need to persuade them to surrender and capture them. Ando Masaki scolded Dabba. I didn't expect that one day I would be taught a lesson by you like this. Dabba was stunned for a moment, laughed and shook his head. Didn't he want to cut a human stick? Nemohan was determined to die, and while his moves were fatal, he also took the initiative to bump the fatal position into his attack route. If it wasn't for your sneak attack, how could he cut a human stick? And what did you say? The person who was taught the most by Colonel Yang Hui, wasn't it you, Masaki? Dabba teased. Nah. Ando Masaki was so angry that Dabba hit his sore spot. He could only vent his anger on the enemy planes that were still alive. After Nemohan knew that his body had lost its limbs and lost its combat capability, he resolutely made up his mind and started the self-destruction program. Nemohan. You crazy woman. The detection system detected that Nemohan's body energy was rising sharply. Dabba cursed and began to retreat, but at this moment, the flaming phoenix fell and gently stroked Nemohan's body. The emerald green crystal immediately wrapped around the body, and the sharply rising energy reaction disappeared. Rita, thank you. Dabba wiped the cold sweat. He was careless just now. He didn't expect Nemohan to be so crazy. Even if he retreated immediately, he would definitely be affected by the self-destruction. You're welcome. Just remember to buy me a luxury meal. Rita Bernal said playfully. Okay, I'll remember that. Dabba replied with a smile. Saving his life was not something that could be repaid with a luxurious meal. Although he knew that his strength was far inferior to Rita Bernal's, but I'll remember this favor. Rita Bernal nodded after receiving the answer. The tail feathers of Phoenix flying, suddenly extended backwards and pierced through Garbett's body at lightning speed, separating in different directions. Garbett's body was torn apart, and Garbett himself was thrown out of the broken cockpit and was caught by Lacey's body with one hand. Chapter 1439 The End of the Remnants of Neo-Zeon. Far away at the other end of the universe, in the opposite direction of the Parida planet, Heyman left Char's 7th Fleet to guard Axis and Minerva, and set sail with the 8th Fleet to encircle and suppress the Neo-Zeon remnants in the universe. When Fulfronto was still alive, the Neo-Zeon remnants were still a considerable force, but since Fulfronto's death in battle, the Neo-Zeon remnants have completely become a second-rate force, with no base, no organized fleet, no headquarters, and are all a group of vagrants. Although they are scattered all over the world, it is a little troublesome to wipe them all out, but this is not too difficult for the Promise Caller. The goal of Heyman's trip is to eliminate all the Neo-Zeon remnants wandering in the universe. Lord Harmon, the enemy has been completely eliminated. Please give instructions. Another secret base hidden in the meteorite zone was destroyed. Harmon tapped the armrest of the captain's chair with his fingers and asked his adjutant, how are the other routes progressing? In this eradication operation, Harmon dispersed the 8th Fleet, with a Zuanwu-class frigate, a White Tiger-class attack ship and a Suzaku-class transport ship as a team. They were dispersed in many routes and blossomed in many routes. They were just small Neo-Zeon remnants, and they were not worthy of the 8th Fleet's full-scale attack. Where is Zoltan Akanian? Have you found any traces yet? Harmon asked his adjutant. The Neo-Zeon remnants were never a threat. They just occasionally appeared to cause damage. If it was the corrupt Earth Federation, it might be a headache, but it was meaningless to the Promise Caller. No matter how secretly they hid, they could be found. No matter how sudden the attack they launched was, they could not be the opponent of the Promise Caller. But Zoltanikanian is different. He is a clone of Char in this world. His mental waves are not weak, but he is more extreme and crazy. The most important thing is, he holds a complete set of Psycho Frame in his hand. Not yet. Lord Heyman. Lieutenant Banagher urgently communicates that Zoltanikanian has encountered Zoltanikanian in the Y-12 space domain. The other party is driving a Psycho Frame. Lieutenant Banagher requests support. Y-12 space domain. Heyman immediately unfolded the space domain map to check the distribution of each team. The fastest support force will take 14 minutes. I will go in person. Heyman planned to go in person. If the fleet was accompanying, it would take too long, but if it was just Kabinizar decomposition, 4 minutes would be enough to arrive. Heyman was not worried about his subordinates being in danger. It was precisely because they knew the dangers of mental waves and Psycho Frames that all Promise Corps were equipped with mental wave shielding devices. Unless the strength of mental waves exceeded twice that of Yang Hui, it would not be able to act on the Promise Corps. The reason why Heyman rushed over was because he was afraid that Zoltanikanian would find out something was wrong and run away. Understood. Zoltan. Young master of the Vist family, what's wrong? Where's your unicorn? Where's your Psycho Frame? Zoltan. Stop it. This is not a power that humans can control now. Banagher drew the silver bullet suppressor and struggled in front of the Sinanju, original stone driven by Zoltanikanian. No, it was not just the Sinanju, original stone, but the complete Neo-Zeon unit too. Not to mention the terrifying weapons all over the body. The most deadly thing was the hexagonal halo behind it, the psychopathic conduction matrix. The greatly amplified mental waves turned into a majestic energy field, which could instantly overheat the magazines and capacitors of all opponents within the range and cause explosions. Even the built-in Vulcan cannons and beam swords could not avoid it, and all weapons were directly destroyed. Although it is not the Unicorn Gundam, it is also equipped with the most powerful weapon of the Unicorn Gundam period, the Magnum rifle. However, Banagher's most proficient and most powerful weapon was destroyed in one encounter, and he lost all his weapons, which made him lose the means of attack for a while and could only dodge in embarrassment. Not only that, Banagher can also feel the mental wave impact that surges like a wave, unwillingness, anger, hatred, madness, negative emotions wrapped around him, and the ears were lingering with decadent music. Although the content could not be heard clearly, he could feel the strong negative emotions, which made people irritable and headache. Damn it, the increase in mental waves is too large, but the shielding device cannot completely block it. Banagher has begun to sweat. He is also a very powerful NT, and his own mental wave strength is not weak. Even so, he feels a headache, not to mention the ordinary soldiers of the Promise Corps. With the help of the mental wave shielding device, the weapons of the machine were preserved, but the powerful mental wave interference prevented them from exerting even 50% of their strength. They also had to deal with the fierce attack of the Neo-Zeon unit too. They were completely suppressed for a while and could not find a chance to fight back. No. Back off. He is now on the verge of self-destruction. We can't let him get involved. Banagher said to everyone. In such a majestic mental wave, the only core emotion is destruction, destruction of the enemy, destruction of the world, and finally, destruction of oneself. Zoltanikanian has gone completely crazy. Born as a chess piece, his life is devoid of despair. He did not choose to perish in despair, but chose to explode in despair, explode all of himself, press everything into the gun chamber, destroy the world, destroy himself, and declare to the unfair world that he is not a puppet at the mercy of others. Banagher and others are now within the range of destruction. This kind of destruction is explosive. Once it breaks out, there will be no future. He has no intention of stopping or even saving Zoltanikanian. He can only find a way to retreat and ensure that his companions survive in the impact of destruction. No chance. The energy field has a section force, we can't retreat. The energy field emitted by the telepathic conduction matrix will not only overheat all the magazines and capacitors, but also have a strong attraction, sucking everything around towards the Neo-Zeon unit too, making it impossible for them to escape for a while. Since we can't get away, let's fight to the death. I didn't expect to die here, but, following the Commander-in-Chief and Lord Hammond to fight so many battles, it's worth it. Hey. Banagher, we will give you a chance, you find a chance to retreat. Banagher was stunned for a moment when he heard the resolute voices, and subconsciously wanted to dissuade them, but was immediately interrupted. Don't talk to us. Are you a real man if you keep talking so much? Get lost, rookie. Don't stay here and get in the way. I've brought honor to my family in my life. But it's different for you, Banagher. Get lost. If you hurt Her Highness the Princess, she'll be sad. Don't forget that Her Highness the Princess is one of the darlings of the entire Legion. Haha. Get lost. As soon as the words fell, Silver Bullet Suppressor was suddenly kicked hard in the abdomen. The huge force carried him back. Not only that, several GN Super Dragoons held his shoulders and took him back at a rapid speed. Ugh. Wait. Don't. Let's go. In Banagher's eyes, one Rising Sun series, after another rush towards the Neo-Zeon Unit 2, regardless of the cost, regardless of life or death. Looking at them, Banagher raised his hand, wanting to hold them back, but could only watch them getting farther and farther away. Stop right there. You bunch of idiots. Swish, swish. At this moment, dozens of energy beams fell on the Neo-Zeon Unit 2. The hexagonal halo behind it shattered, decomposed, and disappeared. At the same time, a meteor fell in the center of the Neo-Zeon Unit 2 and the Prometheus Legion team. Chapter 1440. Standing still will only get thrown away. Lord Hammond. Haman. The telepathy of the Neo-Zeon Unit 2 was transmitted to the Matrix being destroyed, and the shrouded force field and the breath of destruction disappeared. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. After all, no one is not afraid of death. They dared to muster up the courage to die only because there were things that scared them more than death. And now Haman has come, as the hope of survival. Haman, you woman, have you also come back from hell? Where is Char? Let him come to see me. The person Zoltan Akanin hated the most was Char. Without Char, he would not have been born, he would not have been used as a puppet, and he would not have had an empty life. In the eyes of others, Zoltan Akanin is Char's stand-in, one of the many puppets born to replace Char. If he wants to have himself and wants to get rid of the identity of a puppet and a stand-in, he can only kill Char and prove that he is more powerful than Char. I have a strong sense of déjà vu. It seems that there was such a naughty kid in the Legion back then. Char's identity has not been made public, but the top leaders of various organizations already know that Char is still alive, or that Char from another world has come to this world. Zoltan Akanin naturally knows that even if it is not the same Char, it is still Char, so, as long as he kills Char, he can get rid of his fate. Oh, you are not worthy of Char's attack. Haman sneered at Zoltan Akanin's request. Haman is the queen in front of everyone, and Char is her man. He is not someone who can be provoked by any cat or dog, not to mention a paranoid replica. HMPH. Then I'll kill you first, and then look for. Swish. Before Zoltan Akanin could finish his words, Haman interrupted him. The GN Super Dragoon of Ebenezer Setsung, decomposition, had already opened fire, and dozens of wormhole rays penetrated the Neo-Zeon Unit 2. At the same time, the decomposition ability was activated, and the hit point spread outward with a pierced circular hole as the center. The Neo-Zeon Unit 2 was thus eliminated bit by bit, returning to the molecular state, revealing the Sinanju stone wrapped in it. What kind of power is this? Zoltan Akanin was stunned for a moment. Not only the auxiliary computer of the Sinanju stone, but also the mental wave sensed that the Neo-Zeon Unit 2 was not destroyed, but was decomposed into a molecular state. This kind of power is definitely not something that can be explained by some technology, especially the mental waves that exude a deadly threat. A power you will never understand, and will never be able to touch? Swish. As Harmon finished speaking, several more wormhole rays penetrated the limbs of the Sinanju stone, breaking it into molecules, leaving its head behind, allowing Zoltan Akanin to watch how he perished. This power, is so wonderful. Zoltan Akanin knew that he would die here today, and his empty life was finally coming to an end. Although he was unwilling and had not escaped the fate of being a puppet, it was also a kind of relief. At least when he was laughing wildly, tears of relief flowed from the corners of his eyes. Hammond, you said, if there hadn't been Char Aznable, I wouldn't have been born, right? How? Answer me. Hammond. If Char hadn't been there would have been someone else. The cycle of cause and effect, the chain of hatred, the wheel of history, will never change because of the existence of a single person. Really? It's really hateful. Abominable. Do it, Haman Khan. Swish. Cabanese Setsung, decomposition, pulled the trigger, and the purple-black wormhole ray penetrated Sinanju Stone's chest, penetrated the cockpit, and swallowed up Zoltan Akanen, who had his eyes closed. A meaningless shell. Heyman watched as the Sinanju Stone completely disappeared, the man named Zoltan Akanen completely dissipated, Cabanese Setsung, decomposition, put down his gun, and all the GN Super Dragoons retracted their wings on their backs, and turned to look at his subordinates. You disappoint me so much. An opponent of this level actually needs you to fight for your lives. Yes, Lord Heyman. X and the subordinates were not disappointed by Heyman's scolding, but their morale was high. After all, it was the highest honor for Heyman to be able to rush to support them alone. But, not bad, I didn't embarrass you. Heyman changed the subject, and a satisfied smile appeared on his cold face. The Promised Legion's ambition has also been shown. After returning, go and accept the punishment yourself. Understood. X and as for you. Heyman looked at Silver Bullet Suppressor, again, or Banagher to be precise. Heyman. Banagher was sweating coldly, not daring to look into the eyes of Kabil Setsung, decomposition. The mental waves full of oppression squeezed his existence space all the time. Don't be so self-righteous, Banagher. Not to mention losing the unicorn. Even if you have the unicorn, you are nothing. You are not worthy of Minerva now. Well, Banagher was angry and unwilling, but he wanted to refute but couldn't say anything. Now he can't even protect Minerva silently, let alone want to stand with her, not to mention, Minerva is one of the favorites of the Promise Caller. In addition to the Gorilla Dazzle, there are too many mountains in front of him, such as Heyman, such as Char, and then, Yang Hui. This is the ultimate boss. Minerva can control Dazzle tightly. Char and Heyman are also okay and will listen to Minerva, but Yang Hui, Minerva is a super good girl in front of him. This was the top secret information that Minerva told him in person. Although the two of them were in love, if Banagher kept standing still, he would never be recognized by Yang Hui and others, and even in the end, Minerva would go further and further away, and the distance between him and him would also become farther and farther. Heyman, I want to go to another fleet. Banagher asked Heyman. Oh? It's not too late. Heyman's mouth curled up. She had long wanted to transfer Banagher to another fleet. On the one hand, she didn't want him to stick to Minerva all the time, and on the other hand, she hoped that he could get enough training. The Taine universe where Axis was located was one of the safest universes. Except for sporadic harassment, there was no fighting. Banagher followed Minerva's arrangement and went to various universes to carry out a certain amount of activities, but this was just a drop in the bucket and was of no use to Banagher's growth. In other words, Banagher had not grown much since the Promised Legion came to the present, so that many of Dreddy Cruz's juniors had surpassed him. As a result, Banagher said that he would not leave Minerva, and when asked for Minerva's opinion, he agreed. Heyman did not say anything more, because Heyman also saw that Minerva was not a girl in love who could not leave her boyfriend, but hoped that Banagher could recognize his own problems. Now, it's time. After returning this time, go to Drestriga to find Yang Hui to report. Heyman said to Banagher. I will. Yes. Heyman nodded, and then ordered everyone, collect the team and go to the next target. Understood. XN. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1441. Next stop, Sartre? Caught back. Outside the prison room of Drestliga, Yang Hui looked at Namohan and Gabri who were imprisoned inside and asked Daba. Well, these two people should be able to be won over. Daba nodded and said. He is not just a warrior now, but the leader of the resistance army, and at the same time, a survivor of the Yaman clan of the original royal family of Punta Cana. His identity is not a secret within Drestliga. At first, Daba remained vigilant and did not admit his true identity, but after a long period of contact, he let down his guard and began to trust his companions around him. By chance, he also told everyone that he was a survivor of the original royal family of Punta Cana. The members of Drestliga are not only optimists like Ida Longshen, nor are they just warriors like Huso, but also members with far-sighted visions such as Ilzam. Elzum once talked to Daba about what Daba would do after defeating Praserda. Should he notify Pontakona as the heir to the royal family? Or let it go? Daba did not give an answer. He still could not answer this question. What he hoped for was peace, a Pontakona where everyone could live happily. As for ruling Pontakona as a royal survivor, that was not what he wanted to do. He had no desire for power. He just wanted to find his fiancée and live peacefully somewhere. But now, Daba knew very well that the help of the Promise Corps was not free. Although Yang Hui and others had never mentioned or asked for any return, everyone knew that they were being cultivated as companions. This world would eventually be connected to the Promise Fortress, and they would become part of the Promise Corps. Although Yang Hui had not asked them to join the Promise Corps, no member of the Dressliga was content to enjoy the protection of others, so joining the Promise Corps was almost a foregone conclusion. Therefore, Elzum and others reminded Daba more than once that he should consider the future. After all, Pontakona is part of this world, and Daba is the representative of Pontakona. How the Promise Corps will treat Pontakona depends on Daba. Daba has also thought about these things. He still does not intend to inform Pontakona. After finding his fiancée, he should continue to fight with the Promise Corps as a soldier, but Pontakona, that is his hometown, and it is impossible to leave it alone. What should I do after defeating Praserda? He didn't know, but for Name Mohan and Gabriel Gabber, he thought that this could increase Pontakona's status in the Promise Fortress. After Lacey reminded him again, he decided to win over Name Mohan and Gabriel Gabber. Then I'll leave it to you, Daba. Well, no problem. Name Mohan and Gabriel Gabber did not have any weight with Yang Hui and the Promise Corps, and Yang Hui did not have the idea of persuading them to surrender personally, so he simply left it to Daba to deal with. Daba walked into the prison cell and looked at Name Mohan. Let me tell you a piece of news. Kivaza Loa is dead. Although Name Mohan's dead eyes finally showed some movement, she remained silent. Daba could see that her eyes were filled with tears, and there was a flash of pleasure and relief. Kivaza is dead. He is dead. A man like him is also dead. Yes, Mr. Graham did it himself. He can't escape. During the war, Yang Hui pointed to Graham in the direction where Kivaza Loa was, and he began to retreat after he gave the final order to resist. However, the prey targeted by Graham had no chance of survival as long as they did not have the technology of space teleportation. Are you going to stay here forever? Daba and Name Mohan asked again without speaking. You guy, what on earth do you want to do? Garbert next door leaned on the railing and roared at Daba. I misjudged you, Daba. I thought you were an upright man, but I didn't expect you to be so despicable. I don't deny that I am forcing you. Daba shook his head and looked at Garbert, but all this is for Pontakona. Haha, stop joking, Daba. You are Pontakona's enemy. No, my only enemy is Praserda. What's the difference? I just want Pontakona to restore peace and then find conviction, that's all. Sweet talk. Garbert, enough. Han Monet stopped Garbert and looked up at Daba. Although I have given up on Kivaza, I am still loyal to Pontakona and to Lord Praserda. The loyalty I am waiting for is not something that a rebel like you can understand, so, kill us, we will not surrender. What if your loyalty to Praserda is just fake? What? I can share some intelligence with you, about Praserda, about the current Pontakona. After Yang Hui separated from Daba, he came to the captain's room, where Sanai Greywall and Renaud Harding were already waiting for him. Colonel Yang Hui, are we going to suppress Pontakona next? Sanai Greywall asked Yang Hui. Having lost Sat and now Parada, and having lost more than a dozen fleets in this space, Pontakona has reached its weakest point, so Sanai Greywall believes that this is the best time to destroy Pontakona. Has Parada been suppressed? Yang Hui did not answer, but asked Sanai Greywall instead. Commander Jeffrey has completed the suppression of Parada. Thanks to your actions inside Parada, the remaining defenders of Parada have surrendered. Sanai Greywall replied. Very good, leave enough people and let Jeffrey return to the Mars universe immediately. Let's go to Sart first. Sart? Colonel Yang Hui, you suspect that Sart had already announced its surrender when the 20th Fleet arrived, and had disarmed all its armed forces and accepted the custody of the 20th Fleet. Yang Hui now proposed to go to Sart. Could it be that there are some hidden armed forces there? There is something I need to ask Valflat in person. She should be able to give me an answer. Yang Hui said seriously, and then asked Sanai Greywall, Has the weapons dealer named Amandala been caught on Parada? Hearing this, Sanai Grewale and Reynold Harding were silent. This was also the situation they wanted to report. According to the list provided by the intelligence personnel, all the senior officials of Parada either died in Yang Hui's attack or were captured. Only one person is missing. Sure enough, Yang Hui knew that Amandala was not so easy to catch. He was hiding a very important secret, and this secret, Volflad of Sart should know the answer. Rest here for 3 hours, and then go to Sart. Yang Hui ordered Sanai Grewale. Understood. After determining the next target, Yang Hui left the captain's room and prepared to go to the hangar, but not long after he went out, he ran into Shido Hikaru, Ryuzuki Kai and Phoenix Temple Feng, who were running in a hurry. Mr. Yang Hui, can we ask you a favor? Chapter 1442, Zephilo's Passage. What's wrong? Yang Hui looked at the three girls with some doubts. They were very well behaved. After boarding the ship, they had been conscientious and hard-working. They would complete any training seriously. They performed very well in battle and grew up very quickly. They had never complained about the various tasks of Dredge crews. Why did they suddenly come to make a request? It's us. Can we go back to Zephilo? Shiden Guang said hesitantly. Hearing this, Yang Hui's expression immediately became serious. Although Zephilo was still in the other world, it was still a big threat. The opponent's magic power should not be underestimated. But it was precisely because Zephilo had a connection with this world, the Blue Hole, and the only place where all kinds of monsters appeared in large numbers was around a Blue Hole, so Yang Hui had always put Zephilo behind, and the first fleet guarding around the Blue Hole had not received any bad news, so he had not been worried about the situation there. And now Shiden Guang, Long Qi Hai and Feng Huang Si Feng came together and asked to go back to Zephilo. Yang Hui subconsciously thought that something had happened to Zephilo. What happened? No. You misunderstood, Mr. Yang Hui. The serious expression scared Shiden Guang, Long Qi Hai and Feng Huang Sifen. Whenever Yang Hui showed this expression, the situation was very serious. The last time was when Infinite Demon lured them into a battle, but what they wanted to talk about was not so serious. Did the Blue Hole have an accident? Yang Hui asked with a slowed expression. No, it's like this. Rias told us that our strength has been recognized by them. They can work together to open a passage to Shugata's city. We are really worried about Princess Amino, so we want to go back to see how Princess Amino is doing. Shiden Guang explained hurriedly. Well? Can the passage be opened? Yang Hui confirmed to Shiden Guang and the other two. Yes, Rias just told us. Shiden Guang and the other two nodded. Let's go and find Rias together. Okay. X3. Although Yang Hui did not agree directly, they saw hope and felt a little excited. Although they had never mentioned it, they were always worried about Zephilo and Princess Amino. They all knew that Yang Hui was very busy and Dredge Cruz's task was also very heavy, but they still plucked up the courage to ask Yang Hui. If they disagreed, Yang Hui would immediately refuse. If they had any doubts, he would explain to them, but he did not refuse directly, which meant that there was room for negotiation. The four of them came to the hangar specially parked for Rias and other three demon gods. Rias. Hello, Colonel Yang Hui. Rias also responded to Yang Hui's greeting. Although he was not the magic knight he chose, Yang Hui's strength and character were recognized by him. Xiao Guang said that you can open the passage back to Zephilo. Yang Hui asked Rias seriously. Zephilo's priority is low. In addition to the fact that Zephilo's invasion has always been under control and will be strongly suppressed by the First Fleet as soon as it appears, the inability to go to the other world through the Blue Hole from here is also the most important reason. Now, the plan of the Promise Corps is to eliminate the current threats one by one, and make full preparations for the final decisive battle with the Knight. The threats that have been eliminated so far include the Zanskar Empire. The original next target was Pentacona and Uruguru. One is investigating the secrets hidden in them, and the other is still waiting for the reconnaissance results of the Promise. The others were originally more difficult to deal with. For example, the Hellcore and Hegemony dependents are elusive, and no one knows where the other party's base camp is, and it is impossible to cut off the threat from the root. Zephilo and Jai Luoud Kingdom are relatively easy to deal with. They also know the location of the other party's base camp, but they just can't reach the other party's base camp through the Blue Hole. The scientific research team has been studying the blue hole unremittingly, but there is no gain. Now, there is a clue to the method of going to the other world. If the requirements can be met, the threat of the other world can be solved in one fell swoop. Well, yes, this day came earlier than we expected. Method. Yang Hui asked concisely. We carry the coordinates of Zafilo, and we can work together to use teleportation magic to open the channel. Scale. Not too big, but the 2 warships of Dreddy Cruise and all the crew members can do it. How long can it last? Enough for you to pass through. How to return. When Zafilo's pillar is restored, the power of the pillar can send you back. Can the 2 worlds be connected stably? Rias did not answer. They all knew what Yang Hui was planning. Although the 3 demon gods recognized Yang Hui, they were not easy to make a decision even if they were legendary demon gods. I understand. Yang Hui understood what the 3 demon gods meant, and also got the answer. As long as the power of the pillar can be stably exerted, a stable channel can be built between the 2 worlds. If not, Rias will directly tell Yang Hui that it is not possible, but not answering is the best answer. So, Yang Hui made up his mind and turned to look at Shidengong and the other 2. Let's go to Set Star first. If everything goes well, Dreddy Cruise's next mission is to eliminate the threat of Pentarcona, and then we will land on Earth and go to the blue hole. Thank you very much, Mr. Yang Hui. Shidengong and the other 2 bowed to Yang Hui. Although they did not set off immediately, Yang Hui's agreement to go to Zafilo was the best answer for them. It's my job. After Yang Hui left, Shidengong was still enthusiastically speaking good things about Yang Hui, but whether it was Long Qi Hai, Feng Huang Temple Feng, or the 3 demon gods such as Lias, they did not respond to Shidengong, which surprised her. What's wrong with you? Shidengong asked in confusion. Xiao Guang, have you thought about what to do next? Long Qi Hai asked Shidengong. She was the only one of the 3 who came from a big consortium. The education she had been exposed to since childhood and the things she had experienced were not comparable to Shidengong and Feng Huang Temple Feng, so she was more mature and had a clearer view of many things. After? What after? Shidengong asked Long Qi Hai as expected. That is, after defeating Shigatu and saving Princess Imino. Isn't that a happy ending? Forget it, just keep it like this. Ryuzuki Kai and Phoenix Temple Feng sighed. Shidengong is Shidengong, so it's better to keep the status quo. However, they also began to worry about what will happen once the passage between the 2 worlds is stabilized, including their upcoming return to Zafilo. Will all this really develop as they expected? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.